Welcome back, friends. Sorry for, again, the tech issues we're dealing with, but we're jumping on over, taking a look at Built by Gamers and New York. Well, the Subliners Academy were in a really good position throughout the first rotation and a half worth of hard points, but BBG are fighting their way back and doing it nicely. 211, 221, and it really comes down to what happens on this next rotation.
Who's basically leading the charge like a Panda, 22 and 22. They have heated themselves up. Pentagram leading the charge. Saints laying prone behind the box, but Kismet's right there for the trade. Gonna be able to find a nice little pinch. Now Panda will be traded. So Kismet is over here up by their lonesome. Godorex is trying to soak up the hill time, but it's only 30 seconds that they need, and Built by Gamers, they can still close it out here.
Looking pretty solid. Last couple of seconds that need to come through. Kismet doesn't even need to play for this old time. They can just play for the rotation, which is what is currently underway, at least in a certain moment. See how things unfold here, as again, you just have to try to find a way to break through this if you're New York and still hold off that impending rotation that's coming out. Built by Gamers still trying to put this one away. Pander moving forward, able to find Pro Loot looking for Hamza, but turned aside as Spart finds a couple. Now you're going to see Kismet saying, okay, never mind, let's just go ahead, play through gold, play for the new hard point, and just get our final 7 seconds.
Kismet's going to have a trophy system inside of this office as well. Look at the zoning the BBG are trying to set up, but Saints finds a big one for Godorex.
2 for 2, Pentagram, one more. Time looking good, the zone looking better, and Built by Gamers. They'll come out, they'll find their way to get to a 250, 235, and in 4 maps, they will make their way into the winter qualifier matchup where New York will have to battle for their lives to even see the lower qualifier to get into playoffs.
I mean, that's just a crazy storyline within its own self, too. I mean, historically, statistically, through all of Elite, number 3, Subliners Academy were coming out with the heat, and they fell off a little bit short. Maybe you could chalk it up to teams becoming a little bit more wise for what they were trying to do across the entirety of the map. But Built by Gamers, again, continuously throughout the round-robin play and throughout the entirety of the matchups, again, I really can bookmark it to that point in time when both you and I looked at each other. We're like, well, they got to win out. And then it just came out and just played some of the best Call of Duty that we've seen from them in quite some time. Again, Panda has been some of the most influential on the map that we have seen in quite some time for this Built by Gamers roster. We've been singing the praise for Pentagram since they joined them back after like Cup number 1, and Kismet's in top form as well. This has the workings to be a very dominant team.
Looking likely. I think we've got the ability to actually look back over the map series set there as well for Built by Gamers and the New York Subliners Academy just really quickly as we go through it. And before we get into what will be map number 4 for the side of LAG and Fantastic Four. But there it is right on your screen. 251-25 and a 6-0. Beautiful start for Built by Gamers. The checkmate control, not exactly nearly as favorable as that's where the Subliners really kind of worked their magic. And the 250-235 was what that final score was. So no need for the express search and destroy. And Built by Gamers, 1 win away from finding themselves into the playoffs, which would be the second time in a row they've been able to do that. It's just kind of interesting to see them come through the Subliners Academy and, not see NYSL Academy, I think, in the first place in the top 2. Again, just goes to show that this group stage was immensely competitive. 5 and 2 were the top 2 squads. 2 and 5 were the bottom 2. And then you had 2 teams at 4 and 3, 2 teams at 3 and 4. I mean, everyone was beating everybody, it felt like. But then turning our focus back into who will be playing up against either of those 2 teams, we need to determine the result here between LAG and Fantastic Four. It was a 3-0 on the raid control. Did not really have too much of a chance to look into that one. Apologies there, but tech issues have been plaguing us. But it will be a checkmate hard point to come up next here where LAG find themselves up 2-1 in the series.
Again, I mean, just following the narrative just finely. Again, for the hard point on raid, it was just that little much better comparatively, or the hard point on Moscow, excuse me, for Fantastic Four was just that much better compared to the last time these 2 teams faced. And then Moscow search and destroy and control raid. I think, especially for you and me on this desk, Alan, we can definitely agree that this is probably how we're going to see things going. This hard point on checkmate is definitely one that is very interesting. This is a map that they did not play previously to them facing off against each other on day number 4 of the round robin play. But I mean, Fantastic Four on this map mode, they have not played through all of Elite number 3.
Right.
But I mean, for LAG Academy, they have lost it twice. And one of those was in 40 point of UT crew. The other one, 42 of Subliners Academy. So take that as you will. What my main focus is to be able to see what this team is going to be able to showcase for us, because at least they were trying to fight a little bit more together for those rotations on that map of Hardpoint Moscow. They'll be able to almost lean on their ARs here for LAG Academy to try to find these avenues for success on checkmate.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting, I think, to see what they kind of bring into the mix, just simply due to the fact that largely LIG Academy have not really shown us too much when it comes to their hard point. Outside
Yeah.
of them playing Raid, there really hasn't been a comfortable map for them really anywhere. And I think it's even not even really safe for us to say they've been comfortable on Raid because they've been put into the 100-point club there by this Fantastic Four squad in the past. So yeah, a lot of things to kind of consider. We are just waiting in the lobby to start back up, which everyone is fully populated and it looks like it is about ready to go. But it just comes down to what happens from here, because coming up at the 8 o'clock hour, the mainstream will be firing back up. They'll be dealing with the winners qualifier and then the lower qualifier. So obviously winners of the two matches that we have right here will be squaring up immediately at 8 o'clock. We'll be dealing with the first elimination round and then be handing it over to the mainstream to deal with the lower qualifier match as well. So that's what's kind of coming up tomorrow. Not going to miss that. Top 4 teams for both regions are playing in a single elimination playoff bracket. That's not to be missed because we're seeing storylines unfold across both regions. I mean, in EU, you've got Amelia Strays, who qualified straight to playoffs. Big surprise there. Orglis defeats Team War, another Map 5, round 11, I believe it was. So no Team War in the playoffs. Very surprising in that nature. And you have to assume that the same storylines will likely also occur as we get through this knockout bracket in North America.
Yeah, again, this was the same narrative that we were even pushing coming off of the qualifiers, you and I, Alan. Just the 8 teams that already made it into Elite Stage number 3 was already crazy competitive. And we saw that throughout the round robins. I mean, we can sit here and sound like a broken record continuously, but, you know, that's kind of the recipe that we walked in, right? I mean, we had a handful of rosters that might have experience together, but a lot of them have been seeing substituted out a player here and there. There have been a lot of call-ups for CDL, and you know, for these two teams are definitely one of those that fall right under that same exact category. But when you're looking at the difference in between the last day that was played for round robin last week and now, it's actually a lot of time for teams to be able to scrim and be able to practice with each other too. This LG Academy roster is one of those teams. Again, they're always playing throughout the cups. I know that they just played in the one previously this weekend. They actually ended up losing to Zinx & Co. They didn't even qualify for Championship Sunday. I would love to chalk that up to maybe they were practicing their hard point as best as they possibly can and maybe playing maps that they weren't comfortable on. It looked good in the search and control, but again, it's got to come down to this hard point. And I really wanted to have a little pop-off send-off there, Alan, but the host just won't let me.
Indeed. And instead, we'll throw things to a break because that's just the only way we do it. We either pop off in the right direction or we pop off in the wrong direction. So we'll throw things over to just a small intermittent break, and hopefully we'll be too long before we get this lobby repopulated and ready to go for the checkmate hardpoint. As mentioned, LG Academy winless on this map so far, but Fantastic Four haven't touched it yet. We'll see what both teams have to offer for us when we come back after this. I'm sorry, what did you just say? Was that English?
How do you live when every finger's pointing in your face? How do you give put your mind to something that you love. When you were growing up, everyone told you that you were good enough. Good enough will work for me instead of love. You hurt me deep, broke my trust and watched me bleed. Ignore my faces, squash my dreams. Everything hiding underneath is coming out for you to see. The screens get pitted down beneath the broken spirit. I'm finally free. Get up, get up, get up. I'ma show you everything I got inside. I won't give up, give up. Never backing down, this is my fight. Everything we do in life has gotta be for something. I won't go down without a fight, no, I won't die for nothing. You held me under too long, I see you coming in. Take back your hand, you're not my friend, to me you're fucking dead.
We're back, we're live, and we're looking at the Checkmate Hardpoint. LAG Academy currently up 2 maps to 1. And well, starting on the side that would require them to break through, and we're seeing more of this fire start to come through here. Mental for the second hardpoint in a row will be trying to use this, and well, opening up, good kills coming through for the Guerrillas Academy as they try to work their way through to flip the spawns, of which they're already successful in at least blocking for now.
Yeah, something that you highlighted last time that we were watching from Mental's perspective was back on the right hard point. The FFA art, it does not move much at all. It has a great iron sight as well. Interested to see how it does work in the hands of Mental. Fire, nice little jump challenge on the back staircase. Mox will find the trade, and it's just, as you said, LAG Academy, they're playing from the side that they need to break from. They're doing a great job of just trying to deny the space slowly yet surely, but they can't get the trade on the slack. Just traversing from the A Street back over towards the wing, keeping LAG trapped over by P1, but they're walking away with 40 seconds. It's just a bet.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, if you're looking for ways that you could essentially make the second hardpoint a moot point, well, go ahead and get 40 plus seconds of the first hardpoint, because now you don't feel nearly as panicked to get over towards the second hill. And well, honestly speaking, if you even do find a way to break, the map is looking very great into your favor, but Select sits there and says, okay, what's this far have to do? They pick this up and use it, and he's found himself the better part of a 4 spree. Mox will eventually put him down, and now LAG with a couple of the kills can actually move very quickly. Nero looking for the clean 4-man feed, but will not occur. Jintroid responds with 2 of his own, and that will put a very steep pause to what LAG Academy wanted to do.
Yeah, that last kill inside that crate would have been close for the spawns. Fantastic 4. Luckily enough, you're able to at least find that trade, and you have the closer spawns for P2. Now Nero inside a tube, trying to wait for some help from the opposite sides, but they will get shot in the back. Slack finds 2. That's going to be a pretty solid hold for the P2 here on Checkmate Hardpoint. Fantastic 4, just last few players just trying to at least work their way for the scrap time, but LAG Academy, they're going to be soon to realize that Fantastic 4, that's exactly the spawn out that they want. Fantastic 4 are playing really nice hardpoint between 2 and 3 right now.
Yeah, really nice stuff. I mean, you give away 37 seconds, but hey, after the 40 that you found on the first hardpoint and then a little bit of scrap time, good stuff. Love to see it. And now an opportunity for Exceed to lock down the bottom lane while his teammates soak up some free time on the third, which is currently ongoing. So good stuff all the way through for LAG Academy. And we haven't seen Fantastic 4 play this map ever in the group stage, and maybe we're starting to see a little bit of why, because so far, their play through what is largely the hotly contested hardpoints has been, well, not nearly as scrappy as you would expect. It's been very largely in favor of our team in white and purple.
Yeah, and what can Fantastic 4 try to benefit from inside some of those hills that can be rather scrappy, like one. That was Slacked going on a tear. What was it, a 4-5 spree to start off, and that's just one of the more nuances when it comes down to a submachine gun player of Slack's caliber on a map like Checkmate. When you have ARs just watching every single angle, Exceed is flourishing in just that. 12 and 9 for them as they go down. Mox right behind them at 6 and 6, trying to clear the plane along with Mental. Now looking towards that A Street. Sees one, slide challenges off. Detroit will find that kill, but for LAG Academy, their main focus right now isn't on that A Street. They would love to get methods out from what they would love to be their spawn, and they do just that.
Spawn first, hardpoint second. Exceed, playing the middle of the map, will essentially be responsible for making sure reinforcements for Fantastic 4 are going to be always pressured. Although he has kind of given up that lane just a little bit, and as he drops away from the plane, now he's going to go contest. And the plane is actually wide open. Fantastic 4, an opportunity is starting to brew where they could clean things up very nicely. A bit of a fold moment there for LAG. Really good opportunity in front of them. They do exactly what you would expect. They get the spawns first, they get the plane control second, but they don't really use either of them to great success here on the 4th hill.
It just comes down to being able to isolate these players inside the contest spots, right? And now they're finally able to do it, but we're just down to about scrap time. I would love to be able to do this just on the first go ahead of things, but scrap time, I suppose, is better than no time. It's going to keep things relatively even between these two teams going in towards new. You can see the way Fantastic 4 is spawning. They're actually heavily investing their numbers towards the south lane, as well as just trying to get the player out from the A Street. They don't want that cross going into 5.
Exceed from the front. Has to hope that his SMGs can deter any motion across the plane, but that's not going to be the case. Mox is the only one to find a kill, and he can't really contest at the moment. Spawns are still good for LAG, at least for now, but you've got to win these hardpoint kills if you want to see that stay the case. Exceed over the top, actually simultaneously did that with Slack. Kill will be good. Long-range shots, Exceed finds a second. And now it's a chance to get back out of the hard point, but Fantastic Four still pressuring from the plane, have a chance to contest this back time, and boy will they. Jintroid walks in for the first, looking for more, but will be turned aside, and it just comes down to finding one last Fantastic Four member to get the scrap time, but apparently easier said than done. Slack finds two, and now all of a sudden LAG are going to concede the point.
Just down to about 10 seconds. Man, you might just try to shift your way towards that A lane. You got to just be focused mostly on plane control, but you can also work it from that angle. Exceed and Mox are going to try to work to at least get Slack off of this hill. They're just on the very edge of that hill itself, but Exceed will be able to keep their teammate alive. Immediately focusing on the opposite side. Nero, not too sure if they spawned over here. They just ran across the A street. Maybe you ended up seeing it, Alan, but this is the play that's going to keep Fantastic Four in a 3v3, but at least they have plane control.
Mental trying to change that, working forward. He's taken himself away from the FFAR in order to play with a more traditional sub, it looks like. Speaking of methods, with one of those subs in hand, already on 5, looking for a 6. Jintroid will go first. Methods will find the 6th kill, but Mental was there for the trade, and well, maybe I spoke too soon. Right back to the FFAR he goes. Finds the first elimination, tries to stay down. Nice little play off the chair to find fire, and then maybe one more in front. Wants to take the challenge, but Jintroid read that one like a book, and is at least able to trade out his life for one. At the end, though, Nero, with a couple in a row, will make sure LAG Academy once more finds some good success here in the first hardpoint.
And for what, if you're still trying to figure out why the FFAR is starting to come around in hand of a Crick 6 for at least that second sub, or at least for an AR flex, you know, it shoots pretty darn fast, and it's pretty darn stable. It's pretty much the TLDR in the FFAR. It's pretty good in a stable hand, such as Mental now up to 17-17. But this is where LAG Academy really struggled. Again, they were able to get a lot of time off P1 for the first set of hills. It's not the case. Fantastic Four did a great job of zoning all of LAG Academy across the middle of the map. Mox is able to work their way in closer towards 2. It's going to be a break from the front for the time being, but Fantastic Four, they still have close spawns.
Yeah, this is not bad, though, for LAG. They've got that tube control. There's a multitude of angles that you can watch, but Nero actually does give that angle up by dropping there. Now it's on to Mental. To the pistol he goes. Not going to find anything, and with 22 seconds to play, Exceed feels like he's got to move his way forward to contest, and, well, he does at least help Mox find a little bit of clearance, but not largely enough. So the scrap time will be locked down for Fantastic Four. This will put them over 180 points, and it really does mean that for LAG Academy, you have to do better between this third and fourth hard point, specifically that fourth coming up in a minute.
Just got to keep these players zoned away. LAG Academy, going towards the second set, they were able to find a pretty sufficient time off of P3, and it just came from plane control, and their ARs holding these crosses. Methods trying to work their way a little bit further forward. Intro would be there right for the cross. Pinstripe kill feed for the time being, but Slack is able to keep things scrappy again. They are able to flourish when the hills can be rather brawl-esque, such as P3 and P1, and they find themselves in.
Slacked, trying to clear a little bit of space around the engines. Largely just getting a lot of help from his teammates, including Fire, who's playing up close and personal. Down low, but to the pistol, nearly finds elimination, but there is clearance in the board, at least for a time, for LAG. Methods trying to lock down the long lane. Does at least challenge a couple of contestants, but can't do too much with it besides hopefully keep the hard point neutral and then try to lock down these hard point spawns coming up for the fourth. But once again, you see what LAG want to do. This is a copy paste of what we had from last time. They want these concrete spawns. They want to deal with whoever might be challenging them. And then you've got to work your way forward. Where they foiled and fumbled last time, though, was through that mid plane, which they currently still do not have possession of.
Yeah, you can see Jintroid, at least on the mini-map perspective, they will be that player closest towards that wing. Nero's going to try to clear it out. Jintroid pops up. They will be traded, though. So at least check mark number 1 as far as the checklist is concerned, to trying to get back inside P4 while holding on towards the west side of the map. Is it done? How many more can we do? Mox the challenge, but Nero right there for the trade. So a lot of numbers for Fantastic Four are just going to be in the cross angles. Just as soon as you are able to get plane control, you lose it, but Mental with the FAR comes right back in to get it in favor for LAG Academy again.
Good stuff here from LAG, but they have to be perfect throughout this back 22 seconds, and specifically in the next 60 on the 5th. And they're even allowing a bit of time to be earned here for Fantastic Four. It's going to have to be a 1v1 challenge from Exceed for the scrap time, of which he wins, but gets taken down. There's not going to be a lot of time to give away here, but even 6 seconds is fine if you're Fantastic Four. This comes down to, can you repeat your success that you had on the break from the front last that we were here on the 5th hardpoint to put this map away and send us to that crucial map number 5. And well, the kills are looking pretty promising so far. Mox needs to find a double. Backs out of the top side of the red containers, goes towards the Fire, who had a pistol in hand and will win the battle, but still, Fantastic Four have approached and have gotten on from the front.
And that's a break from the back as well, and well, Fantastic Four, they will be put all the way back over towards the east side of the map. Furthest player forward will be Fire. We'll be trying to hold underneath the plane for the time being, but all this time is great. Again, pretty flawless hardpoint is what you asked for LAG Academy. They're going to have to try to do all of that plus some more. Kills from the front are going to be good. Fantastic Four. Oh, Gintroid gets stuck. These LAG Academy are, again, looking at a minor bit of breathing room, but this is where this hardpoint really spiraled out of control. Fantastic Four started zoning and trapped LAG Academy inside of P5, and they're already set up inside the plane for new.
Yeah, just the 7 seconds needed for Fantastic Four. It's looking more imminent than anything else, and especially as Gintroid off screen takes 2 down from the exit. Method's also watching that rotation. Slack moving forward to be the first line of defense, setting up the line of scrimmage just to zone off any players, and it looks like he may have just done his job successfully enough, and that will be the case. Another big hardpoint win for Fantastic Four, this time 251-62. So Express Map 5 required and queued up next.
And in Nero, I mean, was that like 12-27, 12-26 last I saw? Just a non-benefactor, really. I mean, they were able to walk away with a handful of kill shift, but you almost need more, especially from Nero, who you would assume would probably be one of your natural-born slayers on this team to join the likes of Mental, but it was mostly just Succeed and Mox as your AR lineup, which, again, you would assume would be okay when you are looking at Checkmate. Mental, of course, picking up that far, was trying to do everything they possibly can, but when you're trying to look at the compare and contrast of what Fantastic Four were able to find, it's continuously value from Methods. I mean, they were 30 plus on that game alone. And then you also had Slacked again. They weren't positive, but on Hills again, where it was supposed to be scrappy, that's when the SMGs of Gintroid and Slack, not always necessarily double channeling together, but they were able to work inside of those influential hills, such as 1 and 3, to really set up the success for the ARs to work those spawn traps as you just saw in 5.
Yeah, it's, you want to use the FFAR as kind of that mid-range in between the Krig and the SMG, obviously. Sure. But just watching Mental on screen, he was more with the ARs than he was with Nero with the sub. So if you're leaving him out to dry like that, or I won't even say out to dry, but if you're leaving him on an individual platform to play 1v question mark all the time, it can be difficult. If he's not finding a way to get clean kills off of his opening engagement, he's likely always getting traded. So difficult round for, I think, Nero specifically, but it does leave us with Express, Search, and Destroy coming up for map number 5. We, I think, kind of expected this to be the case. And to be fair, for LAG Academy, who has been very good at their Search and Destroy, or pretty consistent at least, that is not actually holding true for Express in particular. They're 0-3 on this map. Whereas you take a look for what Fantastic Four have been able to do, they've played it a little bit more, 4 times, but they've only actually won this map a single time. They're 1-3. So both teams on a map that they're familiar with, but have not found a lot of success with.
And you go back to that first Search and Destroy that was played in this best of 5, go back to that Moscow Search and Destroy. It was very methodical, slow-paced Search and Destroy from LAG. You already talked about how they were getting some outside help, of course, being able to be that little sister team, if you will, to the CDL team of LAG Academy. You could almost assume that there's got to be some insight coming through and bleeding all the way through. But it's really nice to be able to see what they were doing and not necessarily always baiting on information. They weren't even getting too flashy on some of their setups. Their 3-1 setup really rings true, and it's something that I'll be able to remember going in towards this Express Search and Destroy, that it's almost going to be a very similar setup that you can play for the retake, more than likely going to be over towards that B site, Alan. And if you can at least try to defend one of the sites that this Fantastic Four squad will more than likely aggressive hit, again, that is their profile on Search and Destroy. And at least you could end up shutting it down, because if Slack isn't aggressively finding those first bloods, or Methods isn't finding a hell of a lot of damage down in departures across the info boot centers, this team of Fantastic Four, again, like you noted, has never really had a good time on this map mode.
So we'll see what unfolds. Which teams will find the way to kind of learn and adapt a bit better. Again, winner of this one will go on to play Built by Gamers. Loser of this one will be knocked into the elimination style bracket, where they've got one more chance to try to get into playoffs. And the loser of this one will be playing up against the New York Subliners Academy, which is, neither of those opponents are going to be fun to play up against. I'll say that much. I mean, that one, I would say largely that matchup was Maybe a bit, I think, on paper favored to NYSL just based on prestige and notoriety over the course of the last couple of weeks, months. But what we do know is that the Subliners Academy have struggled to touch when it comes to their group stage, kind of slowing, maybe starting a little bit more slowly than they would like, and Built By Gamers are able to take advantage. So neither opponent is one that you really want to go up against, I would say. And I mean, we can say that about every single team, though, because this has been a very evenly matched group stage. Looks like we have lost a player in our lobby. So without us trying to vamp for too long, we'll just go ahead and send things to just a brief break. And hopefully we'll be back with map number 5 on Express right after this.
If sleep is for the weak, you know where I'll be. Tangled in my head, replaying memory. Close my eyes and pray some kind of clarity. A dream in black and white, it's all that I see. I can feel it in the bones when I see your face. It's the cruelest kind of dream, driving me insane. If sleep is for the weak, you know I'll be.
Well, we were close to being able to start things off, but as you saw there for a moment, a draw on lobby means that we will
It's
probably
close.
be getting a side swap situation in the mix before we get things underway. We are only a couple of minutes away from the mainstream starting things up as well. So again, winter qualifiers and the first elimination matches are what's up next for us schedule-wise. Then, of course, tomorrow, playoff bracket, single elimination, top 4 teams overall, fighting for a lion's share of what I think is $40,000, $50,000. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot of money. And then beyond that, for all of your challengers news and stuff like that, recently announced there will not be a cup this upcoming weekend due to Mother's Day. So that is definitely something to kind of keep in the back of your mind, that when you're trying to dance back and forth between watching challengers and watching the CDL, don't have to worry about that. There is no challengers this upcoming weekend.
Yep. Right. Make sure you give a big old hug to your mom. Tell her you love her. Just enjoy the weekend, right? I mean, it was like the first weekend without challengers, and God knows how long. I don't even know.
Since
All
Easter.
the time has just been blurred together. But yeah, I mean, still interested to be able to see what could potentially be the turnout for these two teams. I mean, even in between like the break, and my brain was just going back and forth on what we could potentially see from these two teams. I don't have any of the records whatsoever from LAG and their stint going through the cup this past weekend. Speaking of those cups, I can only imagine, given how North America just loves Raid and Express, that they probably played Express a handful of times through their run. Again, that came up incredibly short against Zinx & Co. on that qualification match. On the other hand, for this team of Methods & Co. for Fantastic Four, they did not play the cup this past weekend. So But Express is just something I can only imagine that they probably are able to keep in the back of their hat to understand what their win conditions on the times that we have been able to see them, both you and I, and at least me personally, as far as streams and even on this community broadcast, they are heavily invested in towards their ARs, mostly in towards methods to really find all the information through those wall banks of the info booth center, whether that is going to be Fire or another player, to be able to watch that lane over by A. That is just a very standard setup. Well, you're just kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say relying, but in previous search and destroy maps, I would definitely lean towards relying on Slack to find that first blood through the middle of the map.
We didn't see that, at least largely in the first search and destroy.
No, we did not.
So that'll have to be something that gets adjusted to here. We are just waiting on aforementioned player Slack to join into the lobby. So yeah, so we got going on right now. Something's another break. We'll be back as soon as the map's ready for you guys. Don't go too far. We're back, we're live, and we're in map number 5, Exceed in Mental, Mox, Nero. Need to see LG Academy take this one. And kind of framed up the fact that their search, their control has been what's largely got them through a lot of their series so far in the group stage, and already off to a good start offensively as the bomb is already planted at A. Slack looking for a quick contest, and well, the timing not favorable for him as Mental finds first blood.
Nero finds Gintroid as well. The SMG is not able to find the entries, but Methods, it's on the very, very long flank, be able to find one. And we're just down to 24 seconds. Fire would love to find that kill, and they do. 2v2.
Still trying to play on top of the site. Methods trying to keep them pinned, but the problem is, well, Nero's got an SMG. Mental also the same, and well, would have been interesting if you found the first, but it would have been very difficult to find the second. And so LG Academy, quick hit through lockers, quick plant leads to success in the last 2v1 situation.
Yeah, and you got to think that really just comes down to either the player up in top cat or having a player towards that train be able to shut down that push, and especially in the first round of Express Search and Destroy, and well, for any first round of Search and Destroy here on Cold War, again, no trophy systems available. They got to try to take value of those semtexes and find the timing, be able to shrug those players, whether it's information or not, able to get them off of that bomb site, regardless of the setup. 1 or 2 players. But here we go, Fantastic Four. They love these aggressive push. There's that AR spam. They're going to find some information.
Nero, first blood, going to be successful for them, but the trades are there. Mental, stuck, a bit unfortunate. So Gintroid will tally 2. Mox trying to find a way to contest, but instead runs up top to the overpass. This will now put some consideration onto the flank for Fantastic Four, but with your last two members for LIG Academy running ARs. Fantastic Four are going to be happy to push a little bit more aggressively than you would normally expect. And, well, there it is. Slat finds the third kill in the round for a Fantastic Four, leaving just Mox in a 1v3. And, well, he's going to find information on methods, but that information is mutual. And at this point, Mox is really kind of stuck in a pretty impossible situation. That will be the case, so 1-1 will go.
That was a big 1v1 for Slack, too, to push all the way out from the rivals just to be able to get that AR from that back spot as well. Now, actually, not that much damage found from the main AR player over inside of that main hall there, Shift, and that could end up whether coming through from immediate information or just early damage to making Nero's job easier on the top of the staircase. Regardless, it was a great take from Jintroid to find those two. I don't know how the best play ended up getting stuck here. Ed, it is, in fact, a security cam. You crazy game, Cold War. You silly goose. Stop that. Fantastic Four, though. I mean, again, when it comes down to their offensive rounds, I can't name more iconic duo for Fantastic Four to win a round than just sheer raw aggression and just pushing forward from one of their submachine guns that time around with Jintroid.
Well, 3 in a row for him. Looking to maybe play a bit aggressive over towards A, but Fire will be the one really tested as Nero will fall. Wow. So first blood good for Fantastic Four. Methods will see a bit of exceed, and more importantly, hear the slide, keep his gun up, finds the easy second kill. So Fantastic Four with big numbers all of a sudden, and actually now all of the numbers. It's just down to Mox 1v4 situation. If the 1v3 wasn't hard enough from the round previously, the 1v4 surely is, and Fantastic Four take 2 rounds in a row.
This is Fire with the sub, by the way. And we saw Fire, I mean, the last time that I can really note of them finding or even playing with the sub was back when they were still with Paris, rather, excuse me. And it didn't exactly go as planned, but it looked great on that round. Just getting nice and close personal with the staircase. Close to that B site. Catching Nero off guard for the first, and just close corners for the second as well. 2 from that previous round, 4 straight for Jintroid. The potential play for streaks is definitely there. Let's see if they can find it. There's methods that opening AR spam might just find a tag or two. It's not immediate information that they can follow up on. All of LIG Academy are pretty close towards this B side, and Fantastic Four, they take that as an opportunity to work towards A.
Yeah, this is going to be a very difficult retake situation for LIG because Mox hasn't seen anything. Nero trying to clear some space in the overpass, but the problem here is number 8 of Slacked playing forward in the train. And the long flank is starting to come through, but look at the quick wrap from Slacked. Does he check up top? Well, he's going to be forced to now. Finds the first, last bullet into the second. The flank has also been dealt with by Methods. But the mental, good for 1, but time becoming a bit of a problem. 20 seconds on the clock. Still needing to find 2 kills plus the defuse. Makes his play over. Slot gets the read. Mental going to be taken from the opposite angle. Fantastic Four now 3 rounds in a row up 3-1.
And again, that was not only you could tip your hat to Slack to making that play through train. We'll see it from their perspective one more time, but Jintroid just keeping their life inside of lockers. I mean, they kept Nero so trapped and so weak on that spot that Slack literally just had to sneeze, just set a slight cold wind their way to be able to find that second kill. Again, I think most importantly is that not only just keeps Jintroid alive, but also working towards this 5 streak. It's a kill and a half away for streaks potential. It's definitely there, and they have the rounds to play with it as well. Both Mox and Exceed, the AR lineup of LIG Academy, stuck without a kill.
Methods good for another first blood. LAG have been trapped on this opening hit so often. Almost every single offense we've seen, they've come out unfavorably with the numbers. Fire tagged up, going to give up the angle. But Jintroid on 5 in a row still playing safely through Ticket. And now as Fire gets the region, he tries to take the challenge, but Mental good for the first kill. Jintroid really praying at that time to find the 6th in his kill streak, but will be pushed back, and that will leave enough space for LAG to get this bomb planted.
Jintroid just flirting with death. Bomb will be planted here at B, and Jintroid 100% playing for streaks. You gotta assume that Mental and Mox, they probably have an understanding that Jintroid is on 5 straight. So yeah, Jintroid's going to go ahead and keep their life. You got that 2-round buffer to try to play for streaks. We just wait for the 30-second merry-go-round to wait for that bomb to detonate. I guess the bigger question would be, does Mendel and Mox just respect this? Or are they just going to feed Jintroid an extra kill as well? They're going to put themselves in back lockers while the clock depletes.
Indeed the case. So anticlimactic finish here, but LAG Academy will be still happy with it. Getting this back to a single round. But the problem is going to be the fact that in the last couple, they have not been able to find too many first blood engagements that have been all that favorable for them. And you have to be always careful about how Jintroid will play his life, looking for just an instant trade to maybe get these streaks next round. Could be big. But I think the big question will be, what direction do they want to go to try to earn those streaks? Because with these SMGs in hand, you would feel like somewhere over towards B would be the more obvious target, but there is still a lot of bait and switch opportunity over towards A as well.
Well, you got to think too. I mean, how many rounds in a row? I would probably say all of them. The methods just goes down towards info. It's just spraying bullets immediately that an SMG could just walk up to the stairs and being able to find first blood. Definitely be able to do it down there towards info, or even towards when they were finessing their life over inside of office and lockers as well. So towards the offense for Fantastic Four, it will be a B push. Methods for another first blood. Detroit will be here with the bomb trying to clear out from Ticket, but it's going to have to be a retake for LAG 3v4.
All timing here. Mental does find the first. Methods there for the immediate trade. Mox looking to do so in kind. Finds fire first and foremost, but not Methods. So Detroit's still alive. Methods now on 3 in a row. Exceed looking for his first kill. Not the straightest shots we've seen from him. Semtex trying to flush out Detroit. I don't even think that fully got around the corner, if I'm being honest. So as he tries to turn over to the SMG and look downhill, does not find a favorable gunfight there either. So Fantastic Four find the win. And this position for Methods has been clean, realistically, throughout almost every single round so far. Methods has dominated this lower TV area.
I think the low-hanging fruit would be Chef's Kiss here for Chef Cine. I mean, that exact little lineup right there. Offensive, defensive, like, all the way back in Black Ops 2, it was good. It's still good right now. Well, I'm being told by our producer in support, this is not on his end. I don't believe him, but it's okay. We'll believe him together here, chat. But I think most importantly, I mean, the way that you were able to bring up, as we do have an unfortunate end to the game, and we'll take a note of that score there, that, again, Exceed is just not having a good time here. And for an AR Flex to not have a decent time on a map like Express Search and Destroy, I mean, there's a lot of things that just can't necessarily happen. That is one of them.
Indeed the case. Well, we'll send things to a break and figure out if that was a full game lobby crash or if it was on us. And hopefully we'll get things straightened out here without too much of a delay. So 4-2 as far as we know right now, favoring Fantastic Four, but we'll see how things unfold when we come back after this break.
You built these walls all by yourself.
Welcome back, friends. We are restarting the lobby, but with a 4-2 carryover total from our first lobby. So Fantastic Four with a 2-round lead. Just need to get to 2. Whereas LAG Academy now on the offense will have to get up to 4. And watch out, long play for the flank coming through. Mox has read at least one contestant. The problem is, will he expect the second? The answer is given to us very quickly, and the response is not going to be there for Mental, just not the right weaponry for that range.
No, it's really not. It's tough shots of the 74U barrel or not. Bomb's going to get planted here at A, but Fantastic Four, they have a great pinch to try to work this site.
It's all about, can they win the gunfights, though? Slash coming around the corner. Reads one, but the help from Exceed, great. Nero finds one more, but just as soon as you thought things were looking pretty gravy for him, it turns aside, and Exceed not able to take the next gunfight that comes up the ladder. Means Fantastic Four take the round, and that pinch you mentioned, just successful enough, even though LAG Academy found a nice initial hold of it.
Hey, you know, with this reset of the lobby, it's almost like the equivalent of coming home from work, loosening up that tie, and just sitting down, just ready to play the game. Because, I mean, again, you go back to a previous few rounds before that reset, we were trying to finesse, we were trying to get Jintroid some streaks. Now that that's off the table, the SMGs can start to really work and fly, and these retakes become a little bit more doable. And again, the numbers advantage and just working on from that pinch all the way from the offender's spawn. Some really aggressive heads-up play, which, again, the profile for Fantastic Four on Search and Destroy. But LAG Academy, always been making an argument for how strong their Search and Destroy is. Been talking about how their difficulties have really haunted them on this map alone. Would love this win here and not to go face Subliners Academy to get knocked out potentially.
Well, the initial push over towards B for LAG Academy does find a lot of information, but the problem is it's really just methods they find a lot of information on.
Yeah.
Once more, you've got a nice little flip-flop over towards the A site for Fantastic Four, and it's going to be on LAG Academy to once more try to break this setup. It's the same position for Slack, playing inside the train. Last time we were here, he actually wrapped around the train, so they don't know that he's in this position. And look at the timing. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. Finds the first. Now to make sure no one's up top, the Semtex will not connect. Slack going to be tested. He does get taken down, but the kills from the front on this post plan for Fantastic Four are great. And it just comes down to one. Mental V3. And over the top. Oh, the hip fire. What? Perfectly found. Also gets a read on fire. Does he check immediately to his right, though? He doesn't. The turnaround finds the kill to the pistol. No time to defuse, and the kill was there anyways. Fantastic Four. They take it 6-2. But my goodness, Mental just showed us something special.
I thought we were about to be in a montage. I thought we were about to make it inside the montage. I mean, this was just heads-up play. Again, we talk about Mental continuously, former games and all. They're I would love to be able to figure out how to get that accurate of hip fire with my 74U in league play matches. I'll have to try to figure, or maybe message Mental to see what they had for dinner, and maybe I could find hip fire like that. But yeah, I mean, that is a big turnaround, at least for LAG, or for Fantastic Four. You know, you lost the last best of 5 series versus LAG Academy. It came down to around 11 on that last map. That was Raid Search and Destroy then, but on Express Search and Destroy, most of which I was talking about did ring up true. I mean, Slack was getting rather creative when they did find those openings, but it was mostly methods, in my opinion, that was finding a lot of early damage, a lot of those openings in, again, those first bloods.
Indeed. So we'll take a look at this best of 5 map series set as we did go the distance all the way to 5, as we kind of expected, but the Search and Destroy not quite there for LAG when it came down to that final Express search. So 250, 154 is how things opened up, and then the 250, 162 and the other checkmate hard point would be where Fantastic Four were able to extend this series into that map 5. But in between, the Moscow search, the raid control, very convincing for LAG Academy, so at least they have that to look back on. The only big problem is you're going up against the Subliners Academy to stave off elimination, and that arguably is one of our more solid respawn teams throughout all of the hard point and control. You have to find a way to probably take a respawn off them, and not just the control. It's going to have to be a hard point you have to figure if you're going to beat New York coming up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, their Search and Destroy comparatively to Fantastic Four is not one-to-one. I mean, this was definitely really nice to be able to see some of the decisive nature and at least some of the adaptations, even in a loss on Moscow Search and Destroy for Fantastic Four, really came through on that Express. But for LAG, absolutely. It may not have to be the hard point. I mean, it was a 3-0 last time that LAG Academy and Subliners Academy played. That was the last matchup, I believe, in round robin, barring a rematch for 2 other maps the following day. But the control was not even close. They got 3-0 there. The hard point was actually the closest map in between those two teams, which was Garrison Hardpoint, of which it was about a 42 point endeavor. So maybe it could be the Hardpoint. I think it mostly comes down to the map bans and vetoes, that if LAG Academy can somehow sneak through with an Apocalypse, maybe they can catch Subliners Academy off guard.
Well, that's what we're to wait for. Is what happens with the map picks and vetoes. They're going to go into the DMs and start to sort that out, and hopefully won't be too long before we can join them back into lobby. We'll send things to a bit of an abbreviated pause now, though, as they do go through that map selection process, and we'll be back with that elimination match coming up after this. Also, keep in mind, you do have the mainstream starting up for the winners qualifier matchup now between Built by Gamers and Fantastic Four. The same will be said there, though. They will have to go through that map selection process, so both streams be on a little bit of a hiatus, at least for a time being. But stick with us. We'll be back just after this.
Why did I have to be this way? How many shadows I create? Getting crushed beneath their weight. I'm my heart, rip it out and pick it apart, 'cause something hasn't felt quite wrong from the start. All these voices inside who are fed to the side, that I'm reaching out in vain. No, I'd rather feel nothing at all than this pain. Why did I have to be this way? Hiding the shadows I create, getting crushed beneath their weight. I'm paralyzed, it's killing me. I only wish to be okay. I feel the same, but they will never see. Can you feel the heat? I'll surrender before my defeat. I guess I ran my course and now I'm absolute. All these voices inside who I think to decide that I'm reaching out in vain. Though this empty shell is everything. Why did I have to be this way? How many shadows I create, getting crushed beneath their weight. I'm paralyzed, it's killing me. I only wish to be okay. I feel the same, but they will never see. I take my shape as a fade away, just to stay on the wall, just to think to decay. Tired of playing someone else's part, just to feel again, feel again. I see my shape as a fading away, and I'm tired of playing someone else's part. It's
Les gens pensent que le temps est une simple progression de cause à effet. Mais en vérité, d'un point de vue non linéaire, d'un point de vue non subjectif, c'est plutôt une sorte d'énorme boule où le temps s'enchevêtre comme un mini-mélo très complexe.
I'm always here and there. Oh, I fear of missing out and hate what I've become. And I'm torn. A handshake, a smile, yeah, the blink of an eye. Everything that can change your life in a minute. Ooh, probabilities, which way is made for me? Don't know who I wanna be. Under my skin, under my skin. the broken plan. Feels like the world is slipping through my hands. I think I'm losing control. Can't seem to find my way home. I sit and watch my only map turn itself into stone. I'm hoping I can find a silver lining. Transmission, but you're not replying. We're losing signal over the horizon. That's screaming over radio silence. I think you'll break it up. I think you'll break it up. I think you'll break it up. I think you're breaking up. I wonder if you'll ever understand. I sacrifice you to avoid the end. I think that you'll never know just how low I would go to save myself from all the madness in your undertones. I'm hoping I can find a silver lining. Transmission, but you're not replying. We're losing signal over the horizon. That's screaming over radio silence. I think you'll break it up. I think you'll break it up. I think you'll break it up. I think you're breaking up. We're in a different place, and nothing feels the same. I hate to break it to you, baby, but I'll be okay. Don't try to call my name, won't answer anyway. You're breaking up, but I wish that you would just fade away. I'm hoping I can find a silver lining. Transmission, but you're not replying. We're losing signal over the
Welcome back, everybody. We're ready to go, or just about, when it comes down to our first elimination matchup. Here, dealing with the lower bracket between LAG Academy and New York Subliners Academy. My whole shift with me proper. Going out on the mainstream right now, the winners qualifier matchup between Built by Gamers and Fantastic Four. So make sure you've got two tabs open. You're watching between both of them. We talked a lot about how LAG Academy is going to have to do something incredible here respawn-wise, because New York, very good when it comes to control, not bad at all when it comes to hardpoint, and LAG, we've shown that they have just really not been able to compete when it comes to the hard point against teams like New York throughout the group stage.
It's mostly the SMG presence is just not there in the hard points. There's got to be some sort of disconnect as far as what the ARs and the SMGs are trying to do. Maybe as far as what angles they're trying to look at. We'll be able to potentially look into that a little bit more so as this match does go along. But the one saving grace, I guess, when you are looking at for LAG Academy, like I was talking about before we hopped in towards that break, you got to have a good map ban and veto process. I mean, they went completely ahead and just escaped the complete last time that these two teams did face off against each other in that best of 5 series,
Right.
given that, you know, it was a lot closer inside the hard point comparatively to other instances for LAG Academy, but that garrison control, I mean, that was a stomp. We were all talking about it in the digital green room here. It was just not close at all. But at least you got checkmate hardpoint here. If you are LAG Academy, they were able to showcase some good strengths in their previous loss just earlier to Fantastic Four. We'll have to see if their ARs can take advantage versus Subliners Academy.
Yeah, I mean, it was still nearly a 100-point game, though, so there is still a lot to be desired, I think, overall,
Sure.
when you're looking at this from LAG Academy's POV. The good news is there is a Moscow Search and Destroy for map number 2, which you have to imagine would be their pick after they just came off a 6-3 win there. So we'll see how things kind of unfold. Subliners Academy looking good so far. First 2 kills, nice and clean. Well, Mental still on this FFAR, really kind of buying into maybe a meta changer, but so far not so good, as New York will be the ones to largely dominate this playing instance.
Trying to go back to the old Black Ops 4 days with that Maddox in hand. Would love that medium range gun to be able to be there, especially like maps on like Checkmate. You have these very open avenues, and ARs can absolutely flourish in LAG Academy. They're going to be that team that would love to be able to fully flourish, spawning on the favorite side and at least trying to keep P2 contested. They were able to keep Subliners Academy at bay, and they got coverage of the wing.
Not bad so far. Still trying to hold on to those spawns as well, are the Guerrillas Academy, but they are being pressured, and as the hard point will come to its conclusion, it will be New York pushing the spawns pretty far forward. It's going to block for now, looking for Neo, the last player left alive for LAG in the back, and he will reveal himself as he takes down Hamza. Going to take the better of a second as well. So okay, now you've got Exceed, who spawns up with you, and LAG Academy have done enough to hold on to the spawns for the second hard point.
Yeah, A nice little bounce back as those spawn outs did occur to be able to work your way back in. And that P1 was heavily contested. It was pretty darn even, so you would love to be able to walk away with this back 40 if you can. Was able to find the one onto Proloot, and you're able to find the cross on the Hamza, so that's a little bit of a trade, barring that Saints can do anything majestic through this card.
Well, Saints first one forward does find a couple of kills. Proloot there with them. The SMGs through New York really starting to light things up. Staying alive, waiting for help. Not a lot of time to fight for here, so you really don't want to commit too many numbers, really, from either side. The rotation will definitely take the priority. And, well, as Hamza was doing a nice job locking down things in the plane wing, he will be taken care of. So the exit will be allowed, and for New York, they are finding themselves at a small deficit, but an opportunity here if they can find a way through blue to maybe actually put a little bit of extra pressure on LAG trying to get to this third hill.
It's a small deficit, again, just because they were, again, it's that small opening that Subliners Academy were able to find at the beginning and towards the end of the hard point to keep it scrappy. LAG Academy, they're kind of like on an uphill battle, if you will, with Saints on this flank. They got the far in their hands as well. This looks pretty fun. Maybe I can find some value on a 4 spree 10 and 5 for them. So there's a player inside of wood, and Spart's going to be that player for the cross as well from the exit.
Smart will find two. Beautifully done. Even wants the third. Grabs that one, too. That was Nero in the back corner. So good couple of kills coming through for New York. A lot of it by way of Spart, who's on 4 in a row. Would love to play his life for streaks. And, well, he should find number 5 here, no problem, as Walks literally slid right in front of him. Long-range shots at Nero was nearly enough for the 6th straight kill. But regardless of streaks or not, the play from Spart has allowed New York to soak up a whale of amount of time here on this third hard point.
Something that is almost unheard of on Checkmate, where P3 is traditionally going back and forth. At Subliners Academy, you get a solid 40 plus off of that. They're, again, from Saints and Spart. You're thinking about what you get from having a main AR like Hamza, and you got Proloot just trying to play around the OBJ. These two players are able to set up an abundance of crossfires as Spart is fully streaked out.
Good stuff coming through. Now contesting for the 4th hard point. Kills still looking pretty convincing. Number 9 for Spart. Wants a 10th. Knows that Mental's nearby. Sidesteps a Semtex. Proloot will deal with Mental on the wing. So now Spart just has to respond to whoever comes through this line of sight from Saints. Tries for the slide peek. Not going to be good. Saints try to follow up, but does not get the better of where Spart had damaged up the first players. So that will actually be the Guerrillas making their way forward and finding some scrap time to fight for here on the 4th hill.
Oh, Exceed with the Diamante, actually feeling the challenge over towards the back exit. I mean, that takes a certain amount of stones, but it will be 2 down for LAG Academy. You just got to find this last player. It's Mental inside of wood. They will now reveal themselves. Let's find one, and Nero's able to find another one. That's going to be underneath the plane as well, so an opportunity to try to threaten P5 early.
Yeah, but the problem is that there's so many New York members in the back that the spawns should be largely good for them. There will be a small block out moment. It's just Saints who get spawned out. First 15 seconds, positive for the Guerrillas, though. And with Mox in the back, with a little bit of help from Exceed up top, that will be a full 4-man feed. And Los Angeles Academy have found their way not only to contest some of the hardpoint time, they're looking to be the victors of this, maybe even finding a full 60.
I hear that artillery strike coming all the way through. Checkmate is so hard to find. Streaks on for 1, but will be that information, and it's keeping Subliners, or at least in an attempt to try to break inside of this hill, but LAG Academy just hold firm. You're talking about just a solid amount of time off of P5 alone. From that break-in, just from that unfortunate spawn from Mox on the backside of server. Able to shoot 2 players with Subliners in the back. So as we go in towards the second set, it's going to be pretty even, just dead even at that. Just 1 second in between these 2 teams. The Subliners, they're already losing players inside of the plane. Saints has to keep their life.
Yeah, I'm actually a bit surprised that the Subliners are finding this much value off this hard point, considering that you see their arrows, how they're positioned. They're allowing LAG Academy to essentially get an exit, but force them into a couple of choke points has apparently been good enough for Subliners Academy. That's going to be a couple of kills from Proloot. He's got 1 more, gets at least 1 bullet in, wants to take the challenge. The shot punch will be good, and that will be New York. A very solid first opening 30 seconds, considering the fact that they really weren't even playing for too much of a zone forward through the 5th hardpoint exit.
Yeah, Proloot may be that guy that's playing a lot more OBJ now, but never forget that when Saints or when Spart was mostly playing that main AR with Hydra, they were that duo with Saints. They are still nasty on the stick. Spart with the slide shot. We'll see 2 from the wing. It will be Exceed 4-3. That's 5 straight now for them, as LAG are trying to at least soak up the back part of these 10 seconds, but it's almost the exact same thing as the first set of hills. Just one team and a break in early here for P2, and Mox finds 1 early.
Need to win this next gunfight through blue, though. All of these purple arrows are trying to work their way around towards the backside of the spawns. Exceed, great help. He's on 6 in a row. Could be playing for streaks, and I think you should probably figure he will, and that will be the case. Artillery strike has been earned. Looking for the cruise missile, long range though. Spark puts him down, and Prelude is finessed. He's been on his own for what I'm sure feels like a year and a half over through the backside of P2, and he actually allows enough space for his teammates to work their way forward to try to contest one more time with still 30 seconds to play.
Gonna keep LAG trapped. He's gonna try to read that the push is about to come from the tube side as well. Smart was so focused over towards the exit from essentially was gonna be the far back of the east side, but Saints inside the cargo container. We'll find 2, 23 and 17 now for them is going to be challenged once more by Exceed. We'll find that kill and soak up the back 10 seconds, which LAG Academy they would love to have. Making this only about a 20-point game. You remember back on the first side of Hill, Subliners Academy did a great job of keeping LAG trapped. This time around, LAG, they already have the space to push forward.
Perlut trying to push on into the plane to win it out, but it's Nero who's going to be up top to make sure that LAG still have some positioning to work with. One of the hard point for a small time was Spart, but he was by himself and overwhelmed pretty quickly. And the kills for LAG Academy are actually pretty darn good. They've got NYSL spawning exactly where they want them to, top right side of the minimap, and with Exceed still on a couple of kills in a row, this should be at least a tying of the game, if not a potential lead swap to come through. 30 seconds of the clock, and even still, New York have not had a good look at this third hill yet.
And the big difference here is that Exceed still has that artillery strike as well. You would love to hold on to the west side of the map while trying to keep an AR on that north lane, where Mox tries to go. Saints will cut them down, but still underneath the plane, LAG Academy are soaking up an abundance of time, but to be able to hold on to that all the way towards 5, as that spawn out does occur, Saints will actually spawn in towards P5's and north to south spawn, utilizing that streak when it comes down on Money Hill. P5 for LAG Academy can help them really run away with the game.
Nero around the back, now looking for streaks of his own. Has the long range versus Hamza, the up close versus Saints. That's enough to the pistol. Wants to try to grab Spart as well, but okay, Semtex will actually be the victor of this battle. Spart finding a third, but it's Exceed on the way back forward. Tied up 164, and with these trade of kills, it's going to still be a very heated battle for what's going to happen here in the fourth hardpoint. New York with a small advantage as they're spawning over towards concrete. With some plane control, an opportunity maybe for LAG to start pinching and working their way forward, and as it's called, it unfolds. Nice kills coming out, and LAG have flipped the hard point back into their favor.
But you can still keep threatening this from the front, though, for LAG Academy. You can keep this close because you still have those 2 artillery strikes and the cruise missile, that if things go awry, you can try to lean on those resources. On the opposite side for Subliners Academy, I mean, you're just hoping to at least hold these close positions. You can see how much they're turtled up. I know exactly what's on the waiting for the resource management for LAG Academy.
Cruise missile trying to work its way into the back. Really doesn't connect, I think, where it wanted to. But once more, New York not able to hold on to the spawns. So we go over towards the 5th hard point. Prolut's playing in bunker, looking to make a play around the back, finds one, needs to keep his life, and has slipped the net in the back. But meanwhile, on the hard point itself, it's all turning up in favor of the Gorillas. So now an opportunity with numbers to get back out of the hill and start generating some score, which very likely puts them over the 200-point mark sooner rather than later.
Oh, it sure will. Nero sees one, is able to challenge both in the plane and finds them both. Artillery strike will be called in from Spart. It finds one. That is the only kill. Actually finds a second, but Subliners Academy, they were unable to find anything on the front line, so they're still spawning out. Nero, again, is a little bit of a reprise, but Saints at least finds the trade.
Still doable, though, for New York largely. You get a 1v1 towards the scrap time. That'll keep the hard point neutral for a bit. And at this point in time, you just have to hope that Pro can clear the plane, and a stick from a Semtex is a great start to it. Maybe he was thinking that that was the only contestant nearby. That was not the case. Hamza will allow himself to live a little bit longer by getting that trophy system down. Now Saints over the plane wing, an opportunity to cut this, but will instead just be a little bit of cannon fodder as he takes the Semtex in response. So now LAG still contesting, looking for numbers to push on forward, but the kills just have not been there. Wing control's been too strong, and New York will put themselves on some scoring opportunities in the first hill.
Mox was supposed to be that player that could have blown it up, but just not being able to find the angle in time. The Subliners Academy are able to do just what you said, maintain that wing control, sit inside the plane. The Academy, they're starting to find some trades. Comes up to Spart to try to find a few more. Exceed doubles down. 30 and 26 for them. 37 and 23 for Nero. I'll talk about the slaying that has been missing from LAG Academy. Well, it is here, especially with their backs against the wall for elimination. That said, Subliners Academy are in a great spot to try to maintain P2, and they're threatening P1 as well.
Yeah, this is actually not too bad at all. You thought for a second there that for LAG Academy it was going to be pretty much takeover mode, but there wasn't enough time for LAG Academy to win off that first hill in the first place. So New York just send a couple of SMGs forward, see what you can find. Prolute trying to hide in a dead body will not be allowed to. Only works in The Walking Dead and things of that nature. Mox now moving his way forward. Another opening, and you gotta remember, LIG Academy has been really good on breaking this hard point. It's looking good once more here. Streaks trying to come on down. Saints getting so much damage, but none of it will fully confirm the kill. So now it's on to Prolute. He will go 1 for 1. And Spart, the next one responsible for making sure the hard point stays safe, and he does clear off Mental, the last LAG Academy member to be sitting in the back.
10 seconds is the only thing that Subliners and Academy can give up to LAG Academy, and now the shoot is quite literally on the opposite foot. Now LAG Academy, they're in for 3. They're trying to keep the NYSL Academy. They're trapped inside P2 for the time being. Prolute only finds a single kill, and with that being said, you're going to have LAG Academy spawning in for P2, so they might still be able to close it out.
Yeah, I gotta go back and fight this one if you're New York. Saints was hoping he could do enough individually. Spart trying to touch, trying to contest, not going to be able to. And LAG Academy come out, take the first hard point.
Wow.
And we didn't really say it was a key to victory, but let's be honest, it was a key to victory. Needed to find a way to steal 1 hard point from this squad if you wanted to have a chance, and it's a hell of a time to do it coming into the series and doing it on a checkmate hard point that you've notoriously not been necessarily all that great on.
I wish that I could actually show my screen right now for my show notes, Alan, to actually show you that I wrote down, and I quote, a key to victory was to take a hard point off of Subliners Academy. And again, I mean, they do just that, right? It is that uphill battle that we've been talking about for LAG Academy. Their hard point has been lackluster walking into this matchup. At what was at a very low win rate, but nevertheless, coming off of that loss to Fantastic Four, I was ready to write home that it was going to be almost the same setup, that you're probably going to look at LIG Academy to win the search and the control. No, Nero comes out with exactly what I said needed to be there. That little bit of fire, that little bit of huzzah, if you will, to be able to find that streak, to be able to go AWOL over towards 4 and to be able to work those streaks, those resource managements. Again, it didn't find that many kills going in towards 5. But being able to flip that out right there, that 40-second difference that LIG Academy got off of both P5s, that was the difference in that game.
And an opportunity, really, at this point, if we take a look at the map series set here, for LAG to go up major, because it's going to be a Moscow search and destroy next. And they looked great at it when they were playing up against Fantastic Four, only giving away a couple of rounds, essentially back-to-back-to-back. It was a 6-3 when they played there. So a chance for them to go up 2-0 early, which would be great news, because I don't know if the New York Subliners Academy roster has had a chance to pull off a reverse sweep yet. They've been down a number of times through the group stage and have not been able to pull things back. So I would almost take the opposite narrative here, that for New York, this is a must-win search and destroy for you, because you don't want to have to try to reverse sweep versus LAG squad.
And for Subliners Academy, I mean, they have never played Moscow Search going in towards elite number 3. So I mean, that's a scary spot to be in for at least one. The last time that they did play, like you said, was today, and it was 6-0 versus BBG. So I mean, you better hope that there is some immediate and immense turnover. I mean, yeah. I don't know how fast you can watch a VOD and try to break things down with coaches included, to be able to try to fix some of those mistakes. But you got to think that it's going to come to the first bloods, especially for Moscow Search and Destroy, ever so dependent on being able to work those angles. And for LAG Academy for Moscow Search and Destroy, again, for that win versus Fantastic Four, they never really did anything too crazy, whether it's offense or defensive setup. Their 1-2-1 setup on offense was stellar. 1 towards the boulevard, 2 towards Gold Alleyway, and always towards that jump peak to try to bait out the information of Fantastic Four. And they were successful in doing so. And on defense, it was just the same as that. Just playing those crossfires, always trying to go for the Hail Mary reads, whether it was 3 players over towards A or 1 towards the boulevard. This LAG Academy squad, when it comes down to search and destroy, just seems to be a step ahead of some of these top teams.
And just taking a look to see what's going on over on the mainstream, again, Built by Gamers playing up against Fantastic Four. It looks like Fantastic Four was able to put away map number 1, a pretty convincing tally. So Built by Gamers did come out hot versus New York, but having some troubles, at least in the opening hardpoint, which was Moscow versus Fantastic Four, which, to be fair, Moscow we just watched Fantastic Four completely smother LAG on in their matchup prior. So definitely one that I would say was expected to go Fantastic Four's way and was able to. So Moscow Search and Destroy is what's up next for us here. Checkmate Control is what's waiting for us for map number 3. Again, we're just playing for getting out of elimination status and playing for the lower qualifier, which would be up next after this match is over. That'll be happening over on the main channel. And then tomorrow, all of the action for playoffs will also be handed by the main channel, that you can find that starting, I think, at the normal times for both EU and NA to get through everything going on over there. So make sure you're staying around for all of that. And well, we're just waiting on one more player to jump on in with us. There they are. So we've got a full lobby and a Moscow search coming up. And yeah, we didn't get much of a chance to watch too many rounds of the Subliners BBG Moscow search, but I think it was pretty clear that Subliners were having a big problem playing with a numbers advantage, because there were a number of rounds that we saw in the picture-in-picture that came down to 2v3s, 1v2s, things of that nature that Built by Gamers were able to win time and time again.
Yeah, and who were those players that were finding a lot of value was Pander and Kismet. So I'm almost suggested to believe that it was mostly Kismet pushing for those first bloods, finding a lot of value in being able to find those isolated ones, and as well as Pander. I mean, when it comes down to Pander, typically and historically, for Moscow Search and Destroy, they are that sole defender over towards B, towards the cutout wall. So that's almost like your exceed at this point if you're looking for LAG Academy for that 1-to-1 ratio that I'm talking about, to try to really punish Subliners Academy, who quite often in Search and Destroy rounds try to get rather crafty and creative when it comes down towards the middle of the map and manipulation throughout the entirety of terrain. Again, have not seen them too much of them from that 6-0 loss, but you almost have to think that for them, it's going to come down to just for some trades, maybe some flash checks to be able to try to figure out where LAG Academy are playing and hiding out at. Because if it's going to come down towards a 4-player rush towards A, I'm not too sure if they're going to break towards that stellar defense that we saw from LAG earlier.
Well, it's all a lot of things to keep our eyes on. The map is loading up. Hopefully we don't have any drop issues, and we can just kind of power right on through the search. A lot of questions, though, I would say, mostly focused on what New York can bring to the table here. Like you mentioned, quick adjustments required. You just don't want to go down 0-2 to this LAG squad, because we've seen time and time again throughout the group stage that reverse sweeps are very difficult to come by. Looks like our start is pretty much out without a hitch, so we'll go on into it. LAG Academy starting off on the offense. And, well, it's going to be that same kind of 1-2-1 that you framed up. 2 over in towards goal, 1 on either side of the outsides of the map. And actually, Sparta's getting a little frisky with this peek over through Globe. He's been stun checked, and, well, he'll likely be trying to get isolated here. And that will actually probably occur as Mox finds the first blood. Spart, not bad to find one. Keeps his life. Could find a second, almost the third. But in the end, it is Exceed who wins the day. And we go to a 2v1 as Mental picks up one mid-match.
Oh, Hamza, he was looking at a great angle to at least find that kill. But again, Moscow Search, it comes down to that big first blood. And that player inside the cutout wall for Subliners Academy is going to be playing for that cross. Going to be helping out Spart. Spart almost ends up getting away with murder in daylight here. Moscow almost walks away with that 3-piece, making it incredibly doable in comeback fashion from losing that first blood. As LAG Academy were just pushing from the boulevard and the immediate pressure, knowing that there has to be a player inside the cutout wall. Player was Prolude, and dealing with them makes that boulevard push so much easier. So now Subliners Academy hoping to bounce back on their offense. Here comes that 4-player push towards A. Remember, this is LAG Academy's most stellar setup. They have 3 players over here, and they all have cross angles on each other.
Oh, but Hamza does find first blood. Exceed's going to be trying to push up Eskies. There are a couple of players from New York trying to check this. It's just Semtex being tossed. Exceed very smart to recognize there's not an opportunity for him, so leave it to Mental. He takes 2 down. Mox gets the 3rd, and just like that, NYSL Academy locked down to just Hamza for 1v2. He was the player to find first blood, but he's got to do a lot more than that. And Exceed rotating over, and the lobby finds the angle, and LAG Academy once more find themselves up early 2-0.
It's that 3-1 setup. You'll see it from Mental's perspective. So long as they're able to hold this bench, they have the player over by the brick wall. Initially, that was Mox. It's just such a nasty double fire that you're going to just slide challenge out to. Maybe you walk away with the first, but that AR player that is Mox over by that brick heady, it is no joke. Difficulties that it is to get that player over there. And like you called out, Exceed on the quick rotation. That's that 3-1 setup. Although Hamza was able to find first blood, it doesn't stop the other 2 players for LAG Academy getting set up. There we go again, that 1-2-1. Mental is going to go for the jump peek. 3 players over here for Subliners Academy are going to say, hey, Mental, we see you. We know you want the information. LAG Academy are just going to be looking for the wrap. Prolude can't get first blooded again.
No, got to stay alive here. Prolude reads the information. Doesn't really have too much of an exit strategy outside of Spart, who's going to try to help him. But nobody has any idea what's coming through apartments. It's going to have to be just who reacts faster. Bomb being planted. Spart not going to check for it. So post-plant should be safe. There will not even be an initial challenge for the exits. Rotating over to help is going to be Hamza. He's going to play the same spot that both Spart and Prolude are at. And Saints is late. He's really late to this play. He's trying to clear mid-map, but this push from New York from the front is going to have to find some sort of success. Prolude going to hop onto it. He's going to stick for this. Halfway done already. Exceed goes to check. Spart pushes him back, and the bomb will just be stuck for the defuse. LIG were never expecting that.
I don't think we were either. I mean, you just go in, nobody pushes through. You find the first kill. Here's Hamza finding that kill. Out of the couch. All right. I love that call. You cleared out the room. You know that there's one player not being challenged immediately out from that window room again. You just hop it. Beautiful. Coming out from Subliners Academy, getting themselves on the board. LG Academy, that was a great take of the BS and D site. It just came from the opening shot onto Prelude and no immediate pushback on the Boulevard, but they can't follow through it. So now Subliners Academy, we have seen this from them on a handful of other maps, and even previously on this specific one. Prelude with the bomb carrier will be that player, be that jump peak. Maybe they might be able to sneak their way towards A, but LG Academy, they're on that 3-1 split.
Yeah, this is New York hoping that LAG are essentially going to hit a flank early, which, as we watched them play versus Fantastic Four, never came through, and we would not expect it to happen here either. They've been playing very diligently around the bomb sites themselves. So 45 seconds on the clock now. You've got to make a play if you're New York, and they're going to be without information largely everywhere but the middle of the map. You've got Spart, who's worked his way up into Metro, now turning his attention over towards A, but I mean, they've got no idea. They could be players on bricks, they could be on statue, they could be backside pillars, they could literally be anywhere. So it's going to be Saints to be the entry, and he finds one. Now some information on where Nero's playing. But there has not been an immediate challenge. They're going to try to wrap this back over to B. There's not a lot of time on the clock, and for the Los Angeles Guerrillas, they're going to recognize this and likely be here pretty quickly. It just comes down to, can Hamza find any kills off this cross?
Oh, but it's Spart that actually pushes to the Boulevard, finds two, and then Hamza on the cross will tell Prelude, hey, there's one in apartments. What a gut check of a call. I don't know who made it, but I definitely want to know, because that is a hell of a read. You make some noise, you find that first ball. That's mental in that win condition spot the last time as Subliners try to aggressively push towards A. They found that three-piece, knew where to check it. Subliners with, what was it, like 17.2 seconds on the clock, rotate through Metro towards B for that plant. Hamza in that money position to be able to read the cross, but it's Spart that makes the heads-up play to go towards square. And the rotating members from LAG Academy will be coming out of white. Not at all up to a piece. LAG Academy, again, not deterring too far away from the formal plan, I assume. Subliners Academy, again, they will send 3 players over towards A, but last time around, LAG Academy, they were able to read that, yes, Prelude is inside this window. There's no pushback from Mox over by Boulevard, so they should be able to push towards B.
And there's a nice little subtexture mental to know that there is a player playing inside a brick, so you should know that this A defense is playing pretty aggressively, which opens up a lot of space to get over towards B quickly and then plant. No challenge this time for New York. But Prelude, he's already made his way on. Surely he doesn't do this again. Oh, he sees the shadow. He sees a couple of shadows. You can defuse that from up there? He's gonna hop this again? Are you kidding me? No one's gonna check this. Spart's watching the outside. Unreal. 2 in a row. Prelude. Sticking for a stick. And a defuse, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying, but he's up 3-2 now all of a sudden.
The few Seth job. They'll see it from this perspective. I mean, Prelude, I don't know how he's got like magnetized gloves or something on that operator. Just snags up the bomb, but it's exactly the same. It just that transpired a few rounds ago. Get a Hamza in there, playing on top of the bomb itself, finds the first kill, finds a second. Prelude again was just in there, just hops on the bomb. They're 1 and 2, but they were able to just make that call. So I'm just gonna hop on top of it. All set in stone with the coverage from the middle of the map as well. Subliners Academy with a crazy retake over towards B 2 times over. And again, that's a retake that is very tough to do. Subliners Academy, they make it seem flawless. As again, we are rinse repeat. LG Academy back over towards their 3-1 split again. Exceed inside the cutout wall. It's going to eat a lot of shots. Gets away with their life.
Not going to call for an early rotation defensively, though. Mox will try to watch the middle of the map. Exceed still taking damage from the apartment windows. So you'll back up a little bit further. This is New York putting a lot of pressure, but the bomb is still playing over towards A. And now it's starting to cut back. As Hamza and Saints seem to have gotten the read that, okay, we've got some room to work with here. Spart has also even pushed back Mox. So now all 4 New York members making their way on to B. Exceed will be the only one here that can check this. Here's a couple of nades go off. Does he even bother throwing a shoulder is the real question here. Help is arriving. He gets stun checked, so careful on the return. He actually does get pushed. Mox responds to one, backs away. Who's the next man up? It's going to be Mental. Nero as well, from the backside windows, trying to clear up the bomb site. Oh, but Saints, so good for the first, but Mox and Mental, team shooting their way through, find the next two, and it comes down to Spart. 1v2 situation, working the street. No, he's not going to get the initial read, and Mox swapping over to the Diamatti finds the final shots, and he will be allowed the defusal as he was on 4 kills in a row.
Woo! I mean, Spart was... You can't really even just blame that on them either. There's just no way you don't know if there's going to be a rotating player, a flanking member all the way through Gold Alleyway. They were that player that was in charge of covering that flank fully and the cross inside of Metro as well. There was immediate pressure inside of the bomb site, though. Maybe it just comes down to the small talk of maybe just conveying how many numbers you're seeing in front of you and how many kills you were able to find. There's that last little challenge, Mox of the Diamatti. I almost think that was like 2 headshots to be able to find that last kill. That was impressive, but Spart unable to get there to stop it from happening, and we go 2 back and forth, and then we answer back with one in kind. We'll tie it up here. LAG Academy towards another offense. 4 straight from Mox, like you talked about, was able to get that bomb defuse. Working towards those streaks. This is a little bit of a different wear here for LAG Academy. They are actually setting their bomb carrier first and foremost through Metro and on escalators.
It's going to be a battle. Saints just watching for the Eskies push through. Hamza's watching his back. Spart spamming, just trying to see if he can get any connections whatsoever. But LAG have not fully executed onto the site yet. They've baited out a lot of utility. They're saving a lot of theirs. It just comes down to how do they want to hit. Here they come. 3 and 5. It's going to be Spart, first one to fall. Hamza with 1 response. Has anyone seen Saints yet? He stayed concealed this entire time. The bomb is down, by the way, as Nero fell, so you've got to try to clear out what's happening over through the backside of bricks, and the kills are good. LAG Academy, nice little swoop around back through Eskies to clear brick, and then take their attention to the bomb site after.
Take 2 in a row as well. Search and Destroy is quite the momentous game indeed. Very mental warfare. I like this push out of LAG Academy. Talked about, I mean, Saints just being Houdini as long as possible, but made the call well, my friend, that you got to clear out that brick wall. Not telling how many monsters or lurking dangers are back behind that railing. LAG Academy, that 1 round after taking that first hard point, be feeling pretty darn good. And here comes Subliners Academy. They have not done this A push quite in a long time. But LAG Academy, they always have 3 players over here.
And the stun actually still connects, even though there's a trophy nearby. The Semtex comes out, but I think that time there was a trophy, but the spam shot from Mox, good enough for first blood. That is the bomb carrier down. Mental feeling feverish, wants to move in to try to reduce symptoms there as he finds himself a second. So now it's a 4v2 situation, in New York is in a pretty terrible spot. Bomb is even down in LAG Academy. I mean, this setup has just been so good for them, and it pans out once more.
It's beautiful. I mean, look again, like Mental's just that player over towards the bench. They got the lot of the land, right? Or you got the heady from the planters box, and you can also help out if there's a push from escalators from that bench. Mox that AR player. I mean, you could just tell that. I mean, this has just been tuned to a fine degree for LAG Academy, the way that they play Moscow Search, especially defensively from that 3-player hold over towards A.
Yeah,
is absolutely stellar. So the chance to close out here for this offense, Mox going to throw themselves towards the boulevard. The change here for Subliners Academy, they have Spart, that defender. They haven't done that since, what, the opening round?
Oh, this is going to be a cut through Eskies. I love this read, but the stun check. That much better. Hamza and Saints asking maybe for a bit of assistance. Brolut considering it. Trophy system denies 1. Nero still gets over to Brickstone. It's actually so crucial. Even though he's tagged up, Saints feels like he has to make a play, and he runs into a bit of a trap. Nero re-peeking, finds the first blood. Now Brolut working his way in. Hamza, Spart, also quick to try to hold on. But Nero is going to stick and get this bomb planted. He may lose his life off that Semtex, sure will, but he's done his job. Brolut finds the second, and wait a second. Mox is playing for a long flank. Exceed has to stay alive. Finds the first. Now, how do you find this second elimination? Oh, Fox!
Whoa!
The finesse! He gets the second kill and slides away. Prolute 1v2. And maybe he gets the jump on Exceed. Sure does. Time becoming a bit of a problem. Knows that Mox is going to be playing somewhere by lobby. Not going to stick it this time. Wants to play for the kills. And he's got to check this. He has to. Not going to get the chance. Never checks it fully. Never has a chance to defuse. And oh, I don't know about the call, but the play from Mox gets the 6th round. And that'll be enough to go up 2-0 on New York.
I mean, it's the play for one, but watch it again, just the finesse. But we get this in slow motion, right? Oh. Oh, it's like a movie, Alan. Oh, that was beautiful. Again, just a heads up play. No, we're expecting a main AR in the flank. Who does things like that? Yeah, Mox is going to do something like that. That was beautiful, especially towards the end of that round. Again, Moscow Search and Destroy. I mean, you have to assume, again, like Alan said at the top of this matchup, that had to have been LAG's pick. And you got to see the full-on dissection of why, even barring a couple of rounds, what was it, all 3 that went towards Subliners Academy, it just was not able to trump that 3-player holdover towards A. They were able to counter-rotate effectively. Exceed keeping their life inside a cutout wall is one of the biggest praises that you can end up singing towards that defense when it comes down towards that B push. But, I mean, mental and the way that Mox is able to play that A site, again, you could write books about that. It's just beautiful. Wherever the help came from, whoever ended up giving them that setup, even when Hamza found that first blood over towards Nero, which is that player that plays the cutout wall, Mox picks it up and they still shut it down in a 2v3. It's just impressive.
Yeah, great stuff. Take a look at the map series set, though, as far as what we have done and where we still have to go. First 2 maps tidied up by LAG Academy, but we go to a checkmate control. And, well, the control for LAG has largely been good, but on the other side for New York, their checkmate control has been really good. Their control has been lights out. So if there were to be a reverse sweep, you've got the checkmate and you've got a Miami search and destroy, which I would say New York was one of the first teams to really look at Miami and give us some instances of how you can play it outside of just rushing top piano, which is good news for you. But it's still a simple fact of the matter that LAG has been really solid, mostly on their search and their control overall. So there is potential for 3-0 here just based on the history of how LAG have played on this 3rd game mode so far.
Yeah, I mean, LAG Academy, through all of stage 3, what they played, checkmate control, all of no times. They didn't play it earlier either. And at least when you saw it on the checkmate hardpoint, Nero was able to find a lot of value, whether it's a submachine gun or at least a Krig, and Mox is able to find themselves a pretty good game as well. But again, it's the control that has been one of the biggest woes altogether for LAG Academy. But it is a big singing praise for Subliners Academy, the way that we're able to see them play across the entire game mode. I mean, you even go back to when the last time these 2 teams faced off against each other. This was a garrison control, and I almost think that some records had to have been broken with how fast that this garrison control was played out between these 2 teams. I mean, Nero was a non-benefactor. They went all of like 3-16. You got to think going in towards this control, we have to see some sort of consistencies from that SMG lineup of LAG.
Yeah, and I'm not sold at any level on this FFAR that we're seeing being pulled out on this map. Not being sold on it really largely at all.
Not on these teams.
And I think a lot of, that's true too. I think a lot of it is due to the fact that you're putting an AR in your hand. Yes, it has the fire rate that's actually probably faster than the 74U, but it still feels like whenever we see people pulling out this FFAR, they're not getting up and mixy with it. They're still playing pretty passively. Maybe a fringe more aggressively than you would with a Krig, but largely tempo and play style has been nearly synonymous with how you would figure an AR would play. So you're essentially still running 3 ARs. And I know that technically the FFAR is an assault rifle. So yeah, but if you're not giving any help to Nero, he's got to be playing his life and he's got to be taking advantages when they come to him. He can't really be forcing those advantages to happen, which I would say largely was probably one of the biggest reasons that he had that downfall on that checkmate hard point that we saw versus Fantastic Four.
You almost have to think it's like a mentality thing, right? Like even for myself too, like I have an AR in my hand, so I should be playing more slow or slower rather. I should be holding these cross angles, potentially communicating more with my AR lineup. But I mean, when it comes down to the FAR, yeah, you should be abusing that fire rate because you can get mixy with it. And that's exactly what you want to end up doing. You almost want to keep it at a little bit of a longer distance, not necessarily to an AR's distance, but I would actually, if there's one player that I would probably see find an infamous amount of value with it and probably really make a name for it in challengers, it would probably be none other than Smart of Subliners Academy. We saw them being able to break in with the, what was it, the no side of the QBZ, the flak tack meta as well. I mean, they might just be able to be that player, and that's exactly how they do end up playing it. And that's probably one of the biggest successes for the side of Subliners Academy on Control, just to stay on the same note of it all, is that, again, it comes down to that pinch, and it's not two SMGs when it comes down to Subliners Academy. It's an SMG and an AR. Being able to hold those longer angles and just being able to set up Saints, whether it's to get in your face or Spart. They'll do it with the Crick 6. They don't really care.
Looks like we have been told to pause the stream for a moment, or at least not pause the start of this next game. So we'll take a moment just to head over to a small break. Did give you guys an update, though, on what's happening in the mainstream. Built by Gamers did respond on the Search and Destroy versus Fantastic Four 6-4 on a raid search. So that match is now tied up 1 map apiece. But for us, we'll take just a brief pause, and we'll come back with map number 3 right after this.
Another day, another broken plan. Feels like the world is slipping through my hands. I think I'm losing control. Can't seem to find my way home. I sat and watched my own map turn itself into stone. I'm hoping I can find a silver lining. Transmission, but you're not replying. We're losing signal over the horizon. That's screaming over radio silence. I think you'll break it up. I think you'll break it up. I think you'll break it up. I think you're breaking up. I wonder if you'll ever understand. I sacrifice you to avoid the end. Don't think that you'll ever know just how low I would go to save myself from all the madness in your undertones. I'm hoping I can find a silver lining. Transmission, but you're not replying. We're losing signal over the horizon. That's screaming over radio silence. I think you'll break it up. I think you'll break it up. I think you'll break it up. I think you're breaking up.
We're in the thick of it, and so are the Subliners Academy. Down 0-2 in the series. Required win coming forward on this checkmate control, but they did find a 3-0 sweep versus Built by Gamers here in their previous matchup. So hopeful that they can repeat that performance are the Subliners, and so far, not bad. They're trying to hit this play over towards B. They've got some plane control to work with, but Nero will still double up, and that'll be a nice opportunity for LAG to get their defense set up.
Subliners Academy, again, coming off of a hot 3-0 versus BBG on this exact map mode combo. And we're electric and just being able to create some space, but it all comes down to that first break off, which LG Academy are able to stabilize wonderfully off of, just slowly whittling down that clock, just 45 seconds and counting further down. Subliners Academy at least doing a good job focusing on the plane first.
Decent stuff, but it's just one of those things that for the Subliners, just watching them come off a spawn, it just looks like they're okay taking all these one-on-one engagements where they just feel like they're just going to be better overall, and that could lead to some great success. But if they get turned aside, it could also mean that it could lead to some very stark failure. So we'll see what happens here as Prolute has got himself essentially 1v1 versus Exceed. We'll win that. And we'll get the regen off. So, okay, first tick of progress will be good onto the A site. Mox, a little dicey battle with Hamza, also takes care of him there. And then on the reprise, Nero trying to double up, but has good help from Exceed. So the second tick of progress was nearly completed, but will still be stalled, and beyond that, fully depleted for LAG.
Only 2 lives today as far as the advantage for LAG Academy. You're mostly looking at the clock for the win condition to try to win this defense out if you are LAG. Saints trying to make the play. Love to be able to get behind one of these players for LAG Academy, but again, you got 2 players coming off the spawn and Exceed found 2.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where those individual gunfights are turning into a bit of a negative. New York still have a chance to touch over to the A site. Big win from Prolute to keep some pressure onto B simultaneously. So now LNG have to make a decision. Do we want to try to clear off the A zone and then just put Prolute on an island by himself? And that seems to be indeed the case. And, well, it finds a lot of success. So, again, it just feels, you can really see it, especially there where New York are just trying to stretch themselves at times. Maybe a touch too thin. Now, granted, that final situation there, Andy, was one of desperation, so you can't really fault them too much for that.
Yeah, but the opening few rips, you absolutely can. When you are thinking about the Subliners Academy roster, you could date this all the way back to when you had these 4 players representing them back in Elite number 1, where they were gunning everything this side of the Mississippi, Alan. And that's something that they were trying to bring to the table here. But LIG Academy, they're always in positions where they can try to get trades on each other. And that's what they've been able to do so well, comparatively to where they were at, heck, even at the beginning of this Elite alone. They were able to play a lot more resolved. And that's exactly what can punish a team like Subliners Academy that love to go for those solo chows.
This time, New York defensively. A lot of focus over towards the plane. Saints is running right through it. And, oh my goodness, the Semtex. Nearly perfect, just a touch wide. Mox, likely no idea that Saints is essentially a shark hunting him in the water, and will find the kill pretty darn cleanly. So now all of a sudden, yes, you've got a lot of progress here on the B, but New York are all over the back line, and they will clear and deplete just in the nick of time.
That B zone, the harder one to take here on checkmate. If you can walk away with that early, you would love that extra 60 seconds as well. But for Subliners Academy, again, plane control on top of plane control. Spart has been able to flourish in this position alone. They will get timing for at least from that opposite side. But Prolute has their cross, and Mox will actually find 2 lined up. So an opportunity to get this last tick up B.
Wow. Okay, so this is likely going to come through, especially as Saints falls. So now you're looking at New York. You need to find a way to get a defense set up for an A zone, and it's going to have to be through the plane. You see Sparta's already throwing that consideration as he's already up top. Prolute pushing through into yellow. This is actually not a bad setup whatsoever for the Subliners Academy. Force them to spawn bottom right. Force them to come through all these plane line of sights, and you should be okay to start really putting some punish onto these live counts.
22 to 18, just slowly whittle away the time. Subliners Academy, they have the opportunity to try to slow things down. This is not an opportunity to try to get aggressive. You just keep LAG Academy zoned away, and with those handful of kills over towards a yellow cargo container, you're going to be able to do just that. Just maintain plane control. That's what Prolute's doing. Just try to where LAG are coming from. Nero finds a big one. That could open up the plane.
Saints, though, still playing off the flank. Gets one. Nearly snaps onto Mox for an opportunity for a second, but the health pool too limited. But again, all of this positioning that you're seeing from New York is going to continue to put a lot of pressure on LAG to even see this A zone. And you have to make a decision. Do you want to just try to stack and hope that you can win the gunfights on the A zone itself, or are you going to do what is more traditional, which is try to clear off this plane? And well, it looks like they are eventually trying to send their numbers back inside the interior of the plane, but the problem is the kills just are not there. So 16 plays 10, and it's down to 37 seconds for LAG to try to secure this A zone.
Exceed finds Stu, but Nero can't maintain that wing. Prolute, finds some time, but runs out of bullet inside the magazine, so Mox does find Prolute. Now they will be able to put 2 players over towards A, and you got a player over by the plane.
This is doable. Very doable. Exceed responds to Spart. Okay, hold on a second. Saints has to make a play from the middle. Trying to dance around. Not going to find a connection until he locks down Mental to the pistol. Wants Exceed. Not going to get him. Second tick of progress going to be good. 9 playing up against 6. Still plenty of time on the clock. But LAG seemed to say, let's go ahead. Let's get on. Let's stack. Let's try to win it right here. But New York's pushed back too good. And now it's 8 playing 4.
effectively just one team versus two at this point as well. But you only need that one tick for LAG. You got 20 seconds. One pick is really all you need. Nero's trying to push forward. Love a cross angle. Taking down Mox. That's not a great start for this entire situation. 8 versus 3. This should all be done and dusted here on out. Yeah, Nero's going to get traded. Exceed to follow. Mental, you're cracked, but I don't know about a 1v6 sort of cracked, but the Blinders Academy, they will stabilize. BBG almost were able to walk away with it. Again, it comes off of that opening breakoff. How many times are we going to talk about here on Control? From that opening breakoff, they were able to essentially get those 2 ticks off of B and then zone away more and more of the map. Really started to threaten both zones at the same time, but for LAG Academy, at least they're again doing well just playing together. Like, even the stat line suggests how much they are playing together, just sharing the lot of how much they have to do with each other.
You also got to keep in mind, if there is a round 5 defense, LAG Academy only short 1 tick of progress, so an advantage for them in that regard. Puts a lot of pressure on the subliners to either secure an offense or come darn close to securing an offense. First couple of kills evenly exchanged, but once more it's New York trying to play through this B zone largely off the rip, and Brolut up top has found himself a couple of kills, now 4 straight for the young man, and a chance maybe for New York to continue to win over this plane and set up an offense towards the A zone.
4 straight for Brolut, double positive as well, trying to command this plane, would love more kills, gets the solo challenge. Nero will get wall banged as well. 6 for Brolut. Saints as well as Hamza are able to show presence over towards the A zone. That's going to be the second tick, just not even contested so far. Well, you can't for LAG, not until now.
And that's just, that's one of those situations where Mox, if you don't have enough help from the middle of the map or even around you, you might just have to chalk, as much as it hurts to say, but you don't have the ability of walking into pre-fire gun angles in a 1v, possibly 3, and win. It's just not possible. So now a life lead for New York. They've walked onto the B zone. Spark trying to hold it, hoping that an angle is checked, but again, that's just so difficult to predict. The kills will be convincing, and all of a sudden, Los Angeles have found themselves only down a life, and they've stalled any progress towards B so far.
At a minute 30, so you can start slowing down here if you are Subliners Academy. Start finding these picks, start clearing away that 25-yard line, if you will, but Mental will be that first Guardian. Will be able to at least hold their life over by the yellow cargo container. Prolut will see them. They'll be allowed to exist for the time being. Subliners are playing this smart, just waiting for the numbers and try to find these picks one by one. There's Saints to take down Mental. You also have some players trying to threaten the middle of this plane, but you got to get inside first.
Here we go. Hamza trying to open up some space, but Mox up top. He's going to try to play the flank. Should see one for free, but it's not nearly as free as it should have been, as Prolut is there to help, and that will mean now all of a sudden New York can get a couple of numbers onto the B zone. First tick of progress is looking pretty likely, unless Nero could do something in this contest, but he's by himself. He would have to win this 1v2. Pre-fire comes out, double slide. Mox on the cross, trying to help from long range, but yeah, New York will confirm this first tick of progress.
First tick will come through. Mox and Exceed are trying to work the cross angles. Yeah, will it actually come through? I don't know. I mean, maybe trying to ban a couple of kills.
There you go. Just confirm that before something goes wrong. Jeez. But 3 straight kills means 3 players can stack. Mental, what you got there, brother? You're going to find 2. Not bad. But Exceed's going to have to move quickly to get here. The second player that was around will try to stack this, and they will be successful in that. New York, okay, so we asked the question. You would need to either respond in kind, the LAG's last offense, or win one, and, well, they'll win one. So now up 2-1, going back over to the defense for round 4.
Now, BBG, they have to win an offense now, and, well, they got pretty darn close in the last go of things. Just about 20 seconds remaining before they really saw good opportunity, but that all started off with the opening break where they were able to put themselves over towards that B zone very early. And have to see if Subliners Academy set up any differently. The biggest difference from round to round is that the Subliners Academy continuously always threatening that plane. They're always the first ones up there, and it's just been such a hard thing to combat it against when LAG Academy. They just can't convincingly keep that in their favor.
Same setup for New York. Try to take over this plane early. And they have found Nero. Onto the A zone goes Exceed. Mental trying to contest up top as much as humanly possible. Knows he has to value his life, though. So he will make sure he tries to do that, but Hamza had an angle at long range to take him out, and Nero caught in the middle of no man's land will also fall. So New York in a great spot here, and a lot of it coming off the 23 and 14 from Prolut. Saints now in a position up top to where you feel like he's going to find a handful. And he does grab 3 before dropping Prolute there for his trade. And once more, this zone for New York through the A lane is just so difficult for LAG to get through.
They do it on search, they do it on control, and now you're going to end up having Hamza, the main AR for Subliners Academy, pushing forward for spawn kills while the submachine guns are coming off of spawn. We'll make sure that the plane stays in their favor as well. Trades galore will only favor Subliners Academy, who have a 7-life lead. Quite commanding indeed, potentially to close it out here, but Exceed answers back with a quick 2. It's going to need more than that for sure. So we're just down to 23 seconds. Subliners got a map 4 in mind.
You feel like the strategies are already being talked about for that map 4. It's looking pretty near impossible. 6-life lead. Spart working around with Hamza down low. And LAG just not finding any routes to get onto either zone. New York just too good at the checkmate control, and really just the control in general. They've been so dominant there throughout the group stage. So they find themselves one of what will need to be 3 in a row, which leaves us to consider the Moscow hardpoint after we break down this map here.
Gotta tell you, LHG Academy, they really just came to play, too. I really thought that they were going to walk away with that offensive push. That was also at that point in time we were really sitting there, not necessarily harping, I want to say, but we were pretty hard on Subliners Academy for all of those solo challenges that they were showcasing in the opening few rounds. And it did start to work sooner rather than later, but LHG Academy, they were quick to realize, hey, let's just play the game again, much like that Search and Destroy. We don't have to get too flashy. Let's just play for our trades, wait for the numbers, and then just work our way towards these zones. I know it sounds very cut and dry, but in the heat of the moment, like a checkmate control, LAG Academy, they did it well, just not good enough to beat Subliners.
And a couple of interesting setups for New York, largely. I mean, the defense through the A lane really just throwing a stranglehold on LAG getting out of spawn.
Yeah.
Definitely successful for them, but also beyond that, their opening push over towards B a couple different times, the success they've had through the plane, all leading to good things. The patience in the end of that round 3 was really what, in my mind, got New York that offensive round, is waiting to see where exactly they had success to get to, either the A or the B zone, to finally get a full capture, and then just stack it at the very end to hopefully essentially complete the progress for the defense could get back. So taking a look at our map series set, again, 2-1 the count, but it would have to be a reverse sweep from the Subliners Academy, and it comes to a Moscow hardpoint coming up next before we can even consider the Miami Search and Destroy.
Moscow hardpoint, I mean, you got to think that this might just favor Subliners again. All of hardpoint just might. I mean, Subliners Academy, through all intents and purposes, they have not played a Moscow hardpoint, so they just lost to Built by Gamers just earlier on this evening. The first time in Elite Stage 3, which was a very close affair, 250 to 235 was that score line.
Comeback fashion too.
Yeah, and it was pretty tight within like that final set of hills. And that's when, at least for me personally, that's when Prolute really started finding a whole lot more value. Remember, they are that OBJ player, but they're a submachine gun player that is also playing the OBJ. I mean, if they're able to at least hold their life for 1 to 2, sometimes if not 3, with the heat that we just saw from Checkmate Control, that could be a win condition with just one player.
Yeah, indeed the case. Also to keep in mind, though, LAG lost this map to Fantastic Four in pretty clean fashion, I would say, from Fantastic Four's POV. So definitely a lot to be kind of desired when it comes down to this map overall. We are waiting on one more player to jump on in. And again, I'm just kind of looking from the perspective of both teams, largely at what we're going to get out of these SMG players, because Nero, we talked about his impact or lack of when they were playing the checkmate hardpoint before. You have to feel like Mental should be running a second SMG, but I would not put it past him to try the FFAR on this map as well. So it'll be really interesting to see, I think, what mentality LAG wants to come out the gate with here. Did I get the maps wrong? They just set it to a raid hardpoint. I don't think that's what they told me. Let me just double check to make sure I didn't type it in wrong. They told me Moscow, so raid would be a different storyline, though. If they're hovering on it, that changes everything for us, because both teams have played a lot of raid hardpoint.
Yeah, you probably won't see a FAR on this map either, not unless Dashy's playing on this map in the CDL. But yeah, I mean, I really want to. I mean, the FAR on Moscow could work for 2 and 3, especially for 3. I mean, if LAG Academy can get in there, I think the FAR would be nuts. And Mental just holding on back for a lot of headies, playing the crosses. That's where 3 ARs could actually make sense, whether it's a Krig or a FAR, for goodness sakes. But
yeah,
I mean, if it's raid hardpoint, then yeah, everything we're just talking about, you just scrap it, put it in the shredder, throw it out the window. We don't want it.
I mean, they haven't changed the map yet. Everyone's in lobby. So
I have the Jeopardy music just playing in my head. I'm just patiently just waiting, just staring at that rectangle, just trying to wait to see if it's going to switch to Moscow.
Well, we'll see.
They're saying ready.
They're saying ready. So, okay, they must have told me the maps incorrectly. Raid Hardpoint seems to be what we're going to here next. And if that is indeed the case, again, like mentioned, both teams, this is their most played Hardpoint through the group stage, both finding equal amounts of success largely through it. The only time that you would really say that against that is the fact that for the side of New York Subliners, they have put a team in a 100-point club. Whereas for LIG Academy, they have been put into the 100-point club here. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens here because we're loading on it. It's going to be a Raid Hardpoint. Okay.
All right. Cool. We got bamboozled. That's
bit.
April Fool's was last month, guys. Come on. It's crazy. But
Well,
yeah,
it's already May. What the hell?
It
Jesus.
It's got like a tornado warning outside in our state right now, brother. There's a lot going on right now. Here we go. Raid Hardpoint, apparently. And again, a lot of reps for this team. LIG Academy would be that team that I was alluded to be 100-point club here. I don't know, then Fantastic Four not too long ago. So Blenders Academy starting off on that favorite side, find themselves a pretty clean break off.
Yeah, very clean break off from the favored side. A chance now to really soak up a ton of time here. Mental, not going to expect Prolo to be down low, but still gets the jump on him. Good help coming through from his teammates. And now as they move their way forward, Nero attempts, but fails, and it's up to just Mental. 1v2 situation onto the hard point. And, well, he finds the first, but not the second, just beyond it. But even with that, LAG spawning close will find a chance to get back out of the hard point time and even up this game.
Got to get Prelude out from the middle of the map. They're able to do that. Clear pillars, maybe get some rock control. Try to hit through Kitchen because now we're at that 10-second margin. That's exactly what players like Nero and Mox are looking to do. It's going to be a 2v2 inside of Kitchen. Mox finds the first. Spark there for the trade. Oh, do-si-do around the pillar, of which Nero will be able to come out on top. Not enough to flip the spawns out. As Subliners still spawn in.
But the hit from the front has numbers. Everyone's looking behind. I don't think they recognize that New York is still waiting for this hit. And goodness, they are waiting for this hit. Saints was probably the one to kind of hit the execute call, but he falls on the flank. Spark from the money window finds one, but he will. Oh, okay. He actually finds a second, nearly a third. Mental, low HP, gets the beat onto Hamza, but tagged up too low. The 1v1, Mox able to find the shot punch. And then one more through the window. He's on 4 in a row, and LAG Academy from the front have been great.
From the front, they are looking to keep Subliners Academy trapped. In the back of Jungle, Spart will find one, inevitably traded on out. Gonna need a handful of more kills, and Saints, they're the player that makes the heads-up maneuver through money window. That'll help keep it in their favor. And LAG Academy, they will spawn out. Feeling okay with this if you are LAG Academy spawning in towards what is yet another money hill, or the potential to be here on the garage. But Spart already posted up pretty darn close with some teammates. Could blow this up early.
Yeah, finds one. Where's the spawn going to be here for LAG? Okay, it's still in Kitchen, so this play through the middle of the map could actually be really successful, especially considering that's largely where the Subliners hit's coming from. Now that you've cleared that up, you know that it's going to be only over towards Jim. Mental finds the kill in New York. Even though they had an early little bit of pressure to be established over towards the third hard point, come away with largely nothing. I mean, this is going to be the first 30 seconds pretty cleanly locked in for LAG.
It just could be coming down to spawn knowledge. They might have thought that they were spawning in towards AC, just where Mox should have spawned right now, but they were in a position that was going to force them towards the middle of the map. Nero's able to find 2 with the Krig 6, so trying to hold on towards the scrap time, but Subliners, they will finally break in for the back 20. That'll keep them just 20 seconds within this game, but again, the same thing as previous rotation. LG Academy are going to feel pretty comfortable setting up inside a Kitchen, looking to zone in towards P4.
Spart won a really big gunfight at 23 HP to help that break, by the way. He was stuck in Gym with, felt like, I'm sure, a single point of health because he was hugging onto everything that you could possibly find for cover. But Nero, on this rotation, clean, 3 kills in a row for him. LAG Academy, the first squad in. Now for the Subliners. Breaking, trying to get through Kitchen. Mox, good damage. Good help as well. Nero right there with it. He finds himself a 4th and a 5th. Now it's on to Mox to clean things up, but still cannot. Oh, but what is this? Nero spawns in the back right next to Prolute. All right, that happened.
Okay.
Now Spart's on 5 in a row and try to hit the same angle, but the shot punch will be too good from Nero once more. And for LAG Academy, they will lock down the majority of this hard point.
We're probably gonna have to go back and look at that exact moment in time to be able to try to decipher what ended up happening for that spawn. But regardless, this is a great lead for LAG Academy over towards Raid. If you told me they got a 100-point club by Fantastic Four at this current point in time, I would not believe you. Nero is at 16 and 10. Similar performance of what we saw on that checkmate hardpoint is just really starting to piece Subliners Academy together. In towards P5, this is where comebacks can absolutely be made. Raid is one of the most swing-heavy that mode combos that we have in the Raid hardpoint. Subliners are trying to set up.
Mental from behind. No one's going to expect this. He finds one, even cracked out to try to shoot at his teammate. Well, Exceed's like, don't do that. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you. He gets 3 kills in a row. And that means he's on now 6 straight. Opportunity for streaks because he is also soaking up hardpoint time. You got to keep in mind. Yeah, he's already earned one of them. There's going to be the second as he finds kill number 7, looking for 8. But Saints, who continues to be a nuisance on these re-entries, does at least throw some consideration back onto the hardpoint for LAG, but it's still just not enough. Subliners looking for the rotation to 1.
So is just battling for the scrap, whether it's early or it's late. LAG Academy, they will be there. Just keep Subliners on their back foot. I mean, ProLoot, it's about double negative for them as well as Hamza. Not where you want to be. I mean, Spartan and Saints can only do so much on the crossfire, but if the OBJ players aren't necessarily doing the setup and they can't necessarily create the space, we're not necessarily looking at a good going of things. Thank you. That's exactly what I was talking about, Subliners Academy. Clean kill feed for them, and they're able to at least read the spawns. It's a good start. We said that at the beginning of this hard point. LAG Academy, they find 2 to answer back.
Spawns, though, will be on the driveway. Oh, this is actually a really good timing for the artillery strike. You've got members who are trying to push through laundry here. Exceed finds 1 kill, but Saints is in the back. How has he done this? He finds himself 2, you little magician. And now an opportunity for maybe a third, but Mental will eventually put it down. But Saints' individual play essentially reduces all impact from the artillery strike, and I would even argue beyond that makes it essentially a mute point, as you've got 185 to 96, and New York are going to walk away with 40-plus seconds on the first hill.
And that was big time. Again, you're still about a hard point in between these 2 teams, plus some more. Gotta hope for this break to happen inside of P2, but look at the setup for LAG Academy. Players over inside of jungle, and you gotta try to 1v1 a tree. That's gonna be Mox. Good luck for Subliners Academy, but the break's gonna come through the back.
Mox, first line of defense. Nira working with him. Both will walk away with kills. And has anyone seen Exceed? Does not appear so. He was playing the anchor in jungle, finds the easy kill on the return. Over 200 points, our LAG Academy. And New York need a break. They need to do it convincingly. A couple of kills are good initially, but there will still be enough help for LAG to hold on. Now Spart on the entry, finds 1. Knows the second in the back corner, but will not be required to find it as his teammates have cleaned up around him. That is a solid break for New York, but look at the purple arrows already on rotation to 3.
Oh, and Exceed is threatening at 14 HP. ProLoot will find the trade. What an absolute nuisance. And just like you said, LAG Academy, those purple arrows have already rotated over towards Garage. They're fine with losing that gunfight with the lead that they have been able to accrue over the past few hard points. Mental, hey, ProLoot, I'm not in that angle. We'll find Saints as well. 14 and 12 for the Kid, 23 and 15 for their SMG duo as they're set up for 3.
Once more, New York need to be good on a break attempt. They were empty when they tried to play through this same attempt last time around. 2 players through the gym. Exceed finds 1. That's going to be more than enough. Sem Texas will also push back that next player for New York. 1 last chance. Nero, mid-map. He's going to be cutting off any members, hitting it from the garage doors themselves. Watches his teammates spawn up next to him. It has to be coming to Mox's direction. He throws a shoulder just to check. Now here comes the challenge. Good team shots through. Keeps his life. Mental there for the help. It's just down to ProLoot. Last chance. Denied. And the New York Subliners Academy will be eliminated in 4 maps. And, well, 1 more match away to playoffs, our Los Angeles Guerrillas Academy roster.
Your Elite Stage 1 champions have been eliminated from Elite Stage 3 from LAG Academy. This is their first time into Elite Shift. Their first time. They go through a roster change. They lose Chino to LAG proper. They get Mox. They're on such limited practice. Not to mention how they're already hitting their speed bumps at the beginning of this Elite Stage 3. There's so many narratives, and now they find themselves here 1 match away from the playoff bracket. I mean, this is just some beautiful stuff. Again, almost seeming like overnight. Forget overnight, within the same hour in between the matchup versus Fantastic Four to this point in time right now. I mean, the submachine guns were working well in tandem with one another. Again, it's nothing flashy, but LAG Academy, they have a deep understanding of each one of these maps, of where each other's playing. I can only imagine that it's like a symphony of maybe just a little bit of a tough understanding symphony for those comms. That small talk must be absolutely great. The vibes, undeniable.
Yeah, it's just been, I would say, a very strange stage for the New York Subliners Academy. You know,
Yeah.
you've got Hamza that comes in. It's essentially the OG roster outside of, you know, the ability to maybe use like a Hydra or a Diamond Con. But they had a really rough final couple of days. when it came to their group stage. I think they went 1-3 in their last matches that they had to play throughout week number 2, which was weird to see because this is a team that we have kind of marked as being the storied organization, roster, whatever you want to call it, on top of North America. I mean, it was Western before, but I mean, New York has absolutely put themselves at the top of the podium, but that has been shaken up in a major way. They will be eliminated here. And for Los Angeles Gorillas, their academy roster, they go through trial after trial after trial through the beginning of the year. They worked their way through the elite qualifier, and now they're one match away from making playoffs.
It's insane. It's insane. Again, I talked to so many people when Gino got called up to LAG, and we all sat there and we're like, well, LAG Academy, and they must be screwed. He took away Papa Chin.
We thought that Vivid was going to be the guy that was going to be there immediately, right? I mean, goodness gracious.
You pick up Mox, and then the immediate question mark comes around, what are the comms like? Because you know that Mox is going to be that IGL, so who are they mostly working with? You got to think it's got to be in tandem with Nero for that front to backline Tori ratio. A big shout out to Zinx, as we know that is a nice recipe for 4v4 COD. But I mean, in the first couple games, we were still kind of questioning. We were like, yeah, this is all right. They were facing some low tier opponents, but as the competition started to become a little bit stiffer, I mean, at least for me, going back, it was that win versus Fantastic Four that I sat there and I sat back and I was like, Mox is nasty.
It's happening.
And Nero and Mental, I mean, at any given Sunday, any given day of the week, they can pop off. And Exceed is really coming to their own this season. I mean, for a team that stuck together this entire time, can we write a better Cinderella story? This is beautiful.
I can't think of one, but the Cinderella story still not fully written yet. Only one more match to get through before that midnight hour maybe hits. We'll see how things unfold for them, but let's take a look back at this 4-map series just really quickly to give the full recap here. It started off great. That's really what I go back to first and foremost was map number 1, the 250-217. You know, LAG, we've talked about their hardships in Hardpoint. You wouldn't know it by this series here. The 250-217 right into another dominant Moscow search and destroy. For the Subliners Academy, again, they've been very good in control, kind of historically, not just in this stage, but just historically. That would stay the case in the checkmate control. But over into what was a raid hard point, the 250-126, really good job on the rotation, just locking down a couple of key hard points. And like you mentioned, this game in that mode and that map can absolutely get out of hand quickly, and it surely did. So that will do it for us here on the community stream, looking over to see what's happening currently over with the mainstream. Again, Built by Gamers and Fantastic Four already deadlocked on map 4 Apocalypse Hardpoint, and it's about a dead even game. Built by Gamers up 2-1 in the series, so we'll get out of your hair here so you can get over there, and they will be jumping into the lower qualifier match as soon as that one has come to its conclusion. But that's been Proverb and IHOLDSHIFT. We will not be back on the community stream tomorrow because all of the playoff bracket is being handled by the mainstream, so look forward to seeing us right back here for the next stage elite qualifiers in a couple of weeks' time. Till that point, hope you guys keep holding it down. So long.
And if I set the scene inside a memory, I feel you breathing. But I'm a masochist, hit me like 1,000 bricks. You're out and I'm down and I'm wondering if my head stops spinning, will my heart stop too? Lost myself trying to hold on to you. Where are you tonight? I can't get you out of my mind. Where are you tonight? 'Cause I still feel like I could fly right. Where are you tonight? Where are you tonight? Have I seen you for the last time? The touch of our innocence is faded. No answers for questions we keep evading. Before the sun